Okay. All right. We can hear stuff. We can hear stuff. I can hear stuff.
Right.
A little bit of stuff.
You gotta hit yes.
There was a couple of things.
Recording.
Okay. Hang on.
We are recording, yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
You just do after recording.
Yeah, there was something that I wanted to talk about before we got going. Oh, I know what it is, maybe. Okay. Thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project Podcast. I'm Rob Spring.
Jeremy Molt.
I'm Grant Gonzalez.
And we are going to have the Chad. Oh, it's the Chad on the show tonight.
Nice.
He is Chad, the C10 Truck Nerd. We'll give him a call here in just a minute. Wanted to mention the guys from High Octane Dads.
You mean
actually,
daddies?
only from you.
Only from you, yes.
Had James on the show again with Ian the other night, and did a really good episode about drifting and that kind of stuff. And
Like from state to state or from like lane
dude,
to lane?
stop it! Good Lord, already. Anyway, had a really good show. Talked a lot about drifting. Learned a lot. So check that one out in the archives. That should be episode 27. I'm going to say
27.
this will be 28.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Roger that.
Roger that. Okay, well, let's give the Chad. Let's give the Chad a call.
A ring.
Woo!
A ring, really quick like. And we're a couple minutes early. So, wanted to... Oh, yeah. Let's mention...
Hi.
Hi.
Let's mention it.
You've been busy.
Yes, I have been. With all sorts of stuff.
You have been.
Yeah.
We'll save the Lambo stuff for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about the broken down Cobra then?
No. We'll talk about that later, too. Facebook. Untitled Car Project on Facebook.
Yeah.
Untitled Car Project at gmail.com.
Untitled Car Project on Instagram. Untitled Car Pro at Twitter. And then we also have Discord.
The rest of it doesn't even matter.
Is it Twitter or X? I mean, so we are starting to use Discord, people.
Yeah.
There are three of us on
used
there.
it
I am on there now.
Yeah.
We've used it once.
We used it more than that
Okay.
in testing.
Oh, we recorded twice on it, I thought.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Just once?
Nope. Just once.
There's a lot of testing in the meantime.
And nobody cares because
That was
they
a good show.
I
they
wanna,
can't see it.
I want to call you out, Rob. You sent me on the mission, was it 2 months ago? You're like, okay, we're trying to figure out video we're putting on Grant, and we've been testing with Discord for that. So we're making
because you're
progress.
not doing jack shit with it, so somebody else had to do it. Somebody else had to pick up the slack.
Do you want...
So you want to? You sure you want to call me out? You sure you want to do that?
You got the cameras right there.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's
not
not
on.
plugged in tonight.
We're getting testing. I said 2 months.
So it can't wait 2 months. I cannot wait anymore. It's been
It's almost Christmas.
6. So
We're going to have new cameras for Christmas, for the love of God.
all right, I'm gonna call Chad and we're gonna
Let's do it.
get this
Okay.
thing rolling.
You're going to have to start taking NyQuil before you come over or something, man.
I don't know if NyQuil's the trick.
No, I think it will be.
Really? Just halfway.
Yeah, he's just asleep in the corner. He raises his hand every couple minutes. Grant, in the corner, what can we do for you?
You guys would be very surprised what I could do when I'm asleep.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
trying again. Oh,
That's a ring.
now we've got it. Now we've got it.
I wonder if he was trying to call us.
No, he doesn't have it.
Well, good evening.
Well, good evening, Chad. How are you? I'm Rob.
I'm
and
doing well. How's the audio on my end?
it is
yeah,
amazing.
good.
Sounds great.
Okay, good. Well, I'm like, great. I'm glad I left my new iPhone headphones in my wife's van and she left. So I'm like, sweet. Let's use the old ones.
Perfect. Well,
They're tried and true.
tried
Yeah.
and true.
Yeah,
Works
you
great.
Can't go wrong with an old lightning port, you know.
There you go. Yeah, little plug-in action.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Chad, I will introduce you to Grant and Jeremy here, my cohorts.
Hello, I'm Grant.
Hey, this is
Grant.
Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
And
Nice to meet you guys.
yeah, so for everybody listening, it's the Chad, the C10 Truck Nerd. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Well, I appreciate the invite. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun stuff you got going on. I'm genuinely interested in all your C10 madness.
If that's what you call it, madness is a good term.
It seems like it, doesn't it? Yeah. Seems like there's a lot going on.
Yeah. And my neighbors in the city think so too, so that's good.
They like it a lot, don't they? Yeah.
They do, and then they don't, so that's okay.
Well, yeah. We can't please them all.
No.
So let's dive right in. Like, what drew you to the C10s?
So when I was in high school, one of my buddies, his dad had a 70 C10, the old traditional blue and white,
Yeah.
4-wheel drive, and I just loved that thing when seeing that when we were in middle school and all that, and I was like, well, that is the body style that I like, so of course that's what we look for. And Dad worked for an old parts company. It was Greenlight Auto, which became Parts Plus later on, and he gave me the company shop truck for $400, which was a 79 C10, which I didn't really like that much, but it was $400, so I liked that part of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was my daily until he and I could go out and find a 67 to 72. So we when I was 14, we watched the Wichita Eagle Beacon, which was the big city newspaper, all the classifieds every week, and I found a 1971 C10 that had like 6 words, and I knew that's what I wanted. So we made a trip to Wichita, and Dad did the negotiating, and the next thing I know, I was illegally driving a C10 home. So
Perfect. Awesome. That's funny. You say you watch the newspaper for that kind of stuff, and you think about the audience that you have now when you're looking for a vehicle. I mean, you can find vehicles across the country, across the world if you want to.
Yeah.
It's at the touch of your fingers. It's kind of nuts because
it is.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember watching the classifieds in the local paper, and such a small audience if you really think about it.
Oh, and it was, and you didn't get much of a description either because you had to pay by the word.
Pay by the word.
So it was like 71 C10 AC 350 phone number.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, that's what I want.
That's it. Let's look at that one. You bet. Yeah. You definitely had to be ready to walk away. No?
Yeah. Wichita, from where we grew up, was only about 45 minutes, and Dad commuted every day.
Yeah.
To Wichita anyway, so he was pretty big in the car game. I mean, knowing what to look for and all that, I just saw it was green, and I'm like, yep, that's what I need. So
awesome. So yeah, your dad was into it, and obviously you kind of followed in those footsteps. But did you guys work on that truck together? It was obviously a runner, but how much work did you have to put into it?
Yeah, as a young kid, watching J.C. Whitney magazines and everything else, I was like, oh yeah, it was medium green, and of course I didn't like that. I'm like, well, that's a terrible color. We got to make this as shiny as we can and do all that. So Dad and I spent about a year and a half just stripping it completely down. And the benefit was he worked at the parts house, so he was able to bring parts home all the time, and we'd trial and error and fit exhaust and do all that stuff. And he knew enough people in the automotive world up in the city that he'd get me great deals or demos on stuff. So we spent for, I'd say, just over 2 years working on that. So when it was about 16 and a half is when we finished it up, and I spent probably a month going through the DuPont paint chip code book, just trying to find the right thing. And
that's awesome.
I found emerald green metallic is what we ended up with, and it was gorgeous. But what is a 16-year-old kid going to do with this show quality truck? So it was good and bad. So I had it, didn't ever want to drive it that much other than cruise in Maine, and then I drove my $400 79 C10 around.
That's funny.
Like, that's how it works.
Built yourself a show truck and then was too afraid to drive it and didn't want to scratch it.
Oh yeah, we didn't even have the seatbelts looked ugly. We did a full interior on it, so we couldn't find the matching seat belts for the interior that we came up with. So we just took them out because they clashed. So who cares about safety back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it wasn't a requirement back then.
Yeah.
Didn't have to have them.
But
I remember those days. You and I are probably close to the same age.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
I'll be 45 in a few weeks.
Ah, shit, you got me. You're younger than I am.
Yeah, all right.
I'm still the youngest one here, though.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. No, that's cool.
So,
We've talked about the father-son project or the kid-teenager project and how long that takes. And, like, did you guys clash at all over doing that project, or was it pretty copacetic between the two of you?
Oh, it went pretty smooth. I was new to everything. I didn't know what I was doing and all that. So he was kind of my guide. My grandpa, his dad, also was a mechanic for the majority of his life in a GM Oldsmobile Buick dealership. So I kind of had both of them to lean on.
Oh, yeah.
And my grandpa's best friend and his neighbor ran a machine shop out of his garage across the street. So we had everything kind of lined up right. But
Yeah.
I didn't learn as much as I probably could because they wanted to go faster and just kind of get stuff done. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and with projects like that, sometimes you have to. Just because with the kid, you're balancing school and sports and whatnot, and otherwise the project will just sit there. And girls.
Mostly girls.
Oh yeah, we worked pretty hard. I was kind of a wild kid growing up in a small town of about 8,000. So if we weren't in trouble, we were looking for trouble a lot of times.
Sure.
So I spent a whole summer grounded. So Dad and I got a lot of stuff done that summer. So
Was that during COVID?
Just recently.
It felt like it. The good thing was we lived on Main Street in town, and everybody cruised back then. So everybody would just end up in the shop behind the house, and what I wasn't supposed to be doing, I was doing, but I was just not leaving the house. So it was just kind of a community hangout still. So
That's cool.
It was fun, but the whole kind of premise of where I ended up was I learned so much, not just about the trucks, but you could have those father-son important conversations that you didn't even know you were having while you're working on the trucks and just talking about stuff. And I didn't realize we were even doing it until I got a little bit older, and I'm like, oh yeah,
I remember that.
We did talk. I understand how I learned that now.
Yeah.
I learned a whole new vocabulary from Dad too, so it was pretty interesting.
Right.
Hold the fucking flashlight still.
Exactly.
I'm like, where do you even make up this combination? It's colorful. I mean, it was very
colorful.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I think we've all, the flashlight deal. Yeah. I remember that distinctly. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I remember driving the truck back home when we had it painted up here in Wichita, and we got a late start getting it back home after we got the interior, and I didn't have the bumpers on, so all I had was headlights in the front. And we're about 10 miles from town on the turnpike, and I hit the bright lights, and of course the dimmer switches on these things I learned suck. So when you turn them on, then it of course shorts out, and
Oh no.
you lose all your lights. So yeah, literally I was like, and I can't see anything at 70 miles an hour now, and we had to have it towed home.
Oh no.
Fresh. I mean, the paint was like 2 days old, and I'm like, And they wanted to put those magnet lights on it, and I'm like, no,
Don't touch it. Yeah.
don't touch it.
That's
Can you put them on the frame rail?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. It
Wow.
was just a disaster. But yeah, it was a lot of education, not just in the automotive side, but just the life side. And
Yeah.
we had our ups and downs
Yeah.
throughout life and all that, but I can always remember even conversations when I was 14, 15 years old, 30 years later, that we had in the garage. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are great memories, Yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool that you had that experience. How did
And that's kind of what I'm just trying to relay to the next generation now too. So
Man, and I feel like that's a little bit lost, almost a little bit of a lost art. I mean, it's I don't know. It seems to me to be a little bit more difficult to do, to relay that kind of stuff, unless you've got, gosh, I don't know. I want to say, a project or something that the two of you are really close and can work on and talk through stuff. I don't know. Seems a little bit more difficult now to do that.
Yeah, I don't have any boys, so I have three girls. So I have an 11-year-old, twin 8-year-olds. So
Well,
I was kind of in and out of the trucks. I sold my first one when I moved to the city up here because I was living in an apartment, couldn't afford storage while I was going to college, and ended up having to let it go, which was hard. But ended up buying another 67 step side, and then I got married, so I sold that. And then I bought a 69, and we had our first kid, so I sold that one.
Oh my gosh.
Then we found out we were pregnant with twins, so we moved to a bigger house. It didn't have a shop. I sold everything. Then I said, I'm done. I got the girls. I'm probably not going to do trucks anymore. And that was kind of the end of it until it wasn't the end of it.
Yeah, and never say never again.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a big change right before COVID hit. My cousin bought a 72 C10, and he was like my brother growing up. He was a couple years younger than me, and he's in a lot of my videos with me. But he built a 76 El Camino when I was building, which was his parents' car that they bought new, and then I was doing the 71. Well, I ended up selling everything, and he's like, man, he found a short bed 72 in Arkansas, and he went and got it and didn't tell me. He's like, hey, I had such good memories of us growing up, so I found this short bed and I'm going to fix it up. I was like, you jerk.
Yeah, that's rude.
I'm like, you can't do that. So then I got to looking again, and right before COVID hit, Dad had retired. He had been retired for a little less than a year. And just kind of, he was in good health and all that. Went downstairs one afternoon to take a shower and never came up. He had a stroke.
Oh, shit.
And died right there. So that was one of those things where I was just like, oh, man. So when we were trying to sell all his tools and parts and all this stuff during COVID, and that's where I found Facebook, because I'd never really been on social media, but I got it so I could marketplace.
Yeah.
And then I got about a couple sales done and all that. And I'm like, well, why am I selling this stuff?
Right.
And I'm like, these are good tools, and you never know. So just out of the blue one day, I said, you know what? I'm going to go find another 1971 C10 long bed, and I'm going to build the same truck that he and I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, that's
nice.
And that's how it started.
Yep.
And I searched high and low and trying to find a good cab. Kansas has some weird titling laws and stuff. So
yeah, because they can wash titles there, can't they?
Yeah, you can buy stuff without a title as long as it's a Kansas truck. You can buy it on a bill of sale, and then you can apply to get a title for it.
Oh, okay.
But I can't buy an Oklahoma truck without a title and bring it to Kansas. You have to have a title.
Yeah.
Out of Oklahoma, so stuff gets a little hard to get paper on.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
I found a 71 long bed chassis with a good cab and a title. It was about an hour from here. So I went out and looked at it one Sunday, and it was a kid that was getting evicted from his property that was on house arrest, so I couldn't even meet him.
Oh, no.
So I met his dad, and I said, hey, I like all this stuff you guys got, but I just want that 71. He's like, whoa, buddy, that's not how it works.
What?
It's all or nothing.
Oh,
and I'm like,
really?
Uh-oh. I was like, well, what's all of it? And he's like, well, you got these 15 doors and those 12 hoods and these 15 fenders and, these 12 drive shafts. Oh, yeah, that 70 cab and chassis, that's going with it. And over at his property, I have all the rest of it.
Oh, my gosh.
And from then on, you were known as the C10 Truck Nerd.
Yeah. Four trips later with my cousin and I in 2 trailers, we got it all we got it all back. And I was like, dear Lord,
Wow.
what in the world do I do with all of this crap?
Wow.
Start a
And-
C10 shop, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but I live in the city without a shop, so you know how well that worked out.
Oh, your whole backyard was full.
No doubt.
Yeah, so my cousin was gracious enough. He's on about 7-8 acres out in the county. So we ended up partnering on the package deal. And I said, well, I'll start selling stuff. I figured out how to use Marketplace now. So I just laid everything out one day and we were talking. And I was like, okay, that's a 68 fender. That's a 67 hood. And, this is 72 door panels. He's like, how do you know all this stuff?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I just know it.
Yeah.
Why don't
He's
you
like-
know it?
Yeah, I'm like, I just do. And he goes, man, you should start a YouTube channel or something about like
Bing.
parts ID and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, how do you do that? So the whole Google machine happened, and he runs a YouTube channel too about geothermal and some other stuff. So he kind of guided me through how to get it kicked off. And my first year of making videos were terrible. I didn't know what to do with my hands and how to talk. So
Yeah.
so the first year was hard, but
It's all
just-
about trial and error.
Yeah.
it was a lot of errors,
Practice.
but I just said, hey, screw it. I'm just going to keep making videos, and I know they're bad, but maybe one day I'll figure it out.
Nah,
So,
they're good. I've actually today I was really diving deep into your channel, and I like the variety of content that you have on there. From
yeah, well,
just parts repairs and to adventures you go on.
Yeah.
And informative videos. I immediately subscribe because this is awesome. I'm excited to see the journey where you go with it.
well, I appreciate that. No, we kind of don't know. I mean, I sling a lot of used parts, and we part out stuff that we can't save. I just try to save at least 2 or 3 trucks a year. And if I can't, I bring them home, part them out, because I figure if I can sell a good fender to a 15-year-old kid and his dad for $40, now they're going to keep working on that truck because they didn't have to spend $250 on a new one. And
Yeah.
a lot of guys just on tight budgets, and that, I mean, not everybody can afford to do the Barrett Jacksons and do the Meekums and all that. It just drives the price up for so many people. And I'm like, well, just build what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Part of the journey, right? The project is part of the journey. So.
And I'm a social butterfly. I'm known to talk a little bit. So,
That's good. Yeah.
I love just meeting new people, and just, hey, I'm interested in this part and all that. Yep. Come over. I'm like, well, what are you building? Oh, we're doing this. And, I just like hearing the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to come from
love
your background too. I mean, you had a good story, so yeah, I could see being interested in other people's journey as well.
Yeah, it's, the trucks, I always say the trucks are awesome, but the history and the stories and the memories you make is truly what it's about to me, because if Dad and I built a 66 Mustang, I'd have been a 66 Mustang guy instead of the C10 guy, but it was just, it's just what Dad and I did. And kind of keeping his memory alive by doing all this all the time. So,
And I love that. I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. What are you working on right now?
so the next one in the queue is the one we call Forest, which is 1971 GMC. So 71 obviously is my favorite year, and I was really looking for an original patina truck. I love green. Any color of green's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I was looking for one. I had a buddy that's pretty heavy into 67 to 72s, and he buys and sells a lot of parts and stuff too. And I said, well, if you stumble across, a 71 C10, good patina, I said, let me know. And I just want a good patina truck. And he called me one day, says, hey, I think I found it. I found a 71 dark green. It's a long bed with excellent patina. And I said, all right. And sent me a picture, and I said, okay. Yeah. And then I saw the front, and I'm like, oh, it's a GMC. Ooh. And I'm like, I don't, it's perfect other than that. And, a couple days of watching it and looking at it, and I was like, I have never had a GMC before. And, I know there's differences, small differences, but there are quite a few differences between a GMC and a Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, that would be a great studio right there, just to go through and show everybody the different things. And my 11-year-old names every truck that I bring home.
Oh, nice.
So she named it Forrest, and she claimed it to be hers. So
see, I was going to ask if your 11-year-old is getting into the trucks. Does she get out there with you?
She is just awesome. So I mean, she's not a real tomboy, but she likes spending quality time with me, and we do the local big swap meet here in Wichita every year. So she ditches school on Friday and works the swap meet with me Friday and Saturday, and she just loves it because there's not many kids interested that are even at this big swap meet, let alone a girl. So of course all the guys and the old guys around us just love having a girl there and all that, so they spoil her rotten, and she gets treated like a queen.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
She's
so cool.
She thinks that's pretty hot. So, and having her dad on YouTube, she thinks that's kind of cool too. So she's as long as she's going to do it, and she wants to do the swap meet again this year. I said, hey, if you ever don't want to do it, don't feel obligated. But she's still pretty active, and she's ready to start working on old Forest now. So
that's cool.
Nice. Do you have any with that and working with her? Do you have any like specific project part in it you're going to be working with her? Like say, hey, we're going to be starting on the interior. If you know.
Yeah, we have our own dedicated mouse turd sucker vacuum. So she was with me from the beginning of sucking all that out in complete biohazard gear, and she helped me clean it and wash it and power wash it. So we're gonna pull it. I've been waiting for well over a month to get power to my shop. The power company here has had some issues, and now with the hurricanes hitting, it's a contract company that usually installs the service lines and all that. Well, they've all deployed to North Carolina and Tennessee, so I've been kind of in limbo.
Yep.
Of getting out to the shop and getting this thing torn apart. But they came today. They came and got the power turned on today. So I'm
right on.
Yeah.
I'm in business. So I'm excited to get that out there. And whole point of this truck was to be a budget. My plan was, hey, how cheap can I build this and put it together that a 15-year-old kid in high school could afford to do that. And then of course my daughter's like, it's mine. I'm like, okay, now we're going to do good brakes, and now we're going to put seat belts in it. And I'm like, okay, well now I got to patch some of the rust so you aren't, getting carbon monoxide poisoning, which I wouldn't care if it was me, but so
Totally different. Yeah.
We got to go a couple steps further than I wanted to, but hey, it's time with her. So
you bet. Yeah. I can see why you'd have to switch gears. I mean, it happens for varied reasons for everybody's project, but that's a good one. You got to keep it safe now.
Yeah, and my problem is if I don't immediately act on the trucks, and I change my mind 5,200 times about what I'm going to do, and all of a sudden this $2,000 build is going to be $10,000 when I'm done. So
I thought that was normal. Is that not normal?
It's yeah. I give it myself of being a very indecisive person, believe it or not. It just happens that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's in the queue. I've got a couple trucks to go pick up still that I haven't got, and that's just gonna be a problem, I'm sure, for the Karens in the neighborhood.
Well, so I'm really interested in that. I mean, it's obvious that you're active in searching out new trucks and buying them and that kind of stuff. Like, how many do you search out a certain number a year, or do they just come to you?
So that's a good question. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you find all these? Marketplace, I scan Marketplace all the time. I'm always looking because to build my nicer trucks and stuff, I just get so many good deals on new parts because somebody gives up with the project. Hey, I bought all the parts and now I've given up, and I always encourage people too. I'm like, hey, you sure you don't want to go forward, you know? And I always try to motivate people before I try to buy everything off of them. But that kind of started it. But now I have such a big C10 network. And Wichita's the biggest city in the state. Kansas City, Kansas, Missouri would be the biggest if you put Missouri together. But we're a little over 500,000 people in the Wichita area. And we have a pretty big C10 club. And we have a very active ICT truck club. Very like-minded guys. It's just trucks, period, not just C10s.
Okay. Yeah.
But I rarely have to look for trucks because my buddies are always, hey, Chad, did you see the C10 here? Oh, I know this guy that's got one in his backyard he's looking to sell. Or, hey, this guy's got one out in this field. You better go do a knock on his door. And
That's awesome.
so I really don't have to look very hard. They usually come to me.
Yeah,
and
they're
I find
finding
myself, I find myself having to say no, which is not the easiest thing to do. But about a month ago, I had 7.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to thin the herd out a little bit at that point and get a new inventory going. So at the house now, I only have 3.
Yeah.
I got to know, because I saw your video where you went to the truck farm. Was that hard not to bring more projects home because of that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Kobe's got a pretty neat setup out there. So I need to go back out there and just look around.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a video coming out too. I found a kind of a similar gentleman that I documented. I went and met up with last Friday, and he's very big into 48 to 91s Chevy. So I've dealt with him in the past, and he made me some deals on parts that I'm going to be his best friend really soon, I think. So.
His best contributor. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I'm like, let's make a deal.
You bet. Yeah. I've got the truck farm one in my queue. I didn't have a chance to watch it yet, but
it was really
that
good.
that one caught my interest. I was like, I gotta. So that one's up next. But
so,
that's cool.
I really like advertising for small businesses and things like that. I mean, like Kobe out there, he takes care of me when I go out there, and I try to send a lot of business his way.
Oh, that's good.
Any Kansas based, we've got a local AMD rep here that lives on the west side of the county out here. So, he stocks a lot of C10 parts. So, if I don't have something, I'm like, hey, go check out Mark. He probably has that stuff in stock in his garage right now, or he can order it for you. It's just helping everybody out it pays itself back.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, it seems like you've got a plethora of C10s out there too. Like, how is it that area is so? How are they so popular out there?
Yeah, like in
why is there so many of them
on the West Coast? You don't see many older trucks.
No, they're harder to come by.
Especially
Yeah. You got to think about the Midwest though being an
farmland.
We're the wheat capital of the world. We were for a long time. So you think of how many farmers had C10s and had old trucks and stuff.
Sure.
And, they just buy a couple of them. That one's done. Go park it in the tree row and
get another one.
And they just everybody drove trucks. In high school, it was rare to see a guy driving a car.
That's valid.
There are so many here.
Yep.
That makes
we
sense.
have a lot. We have rust, but we don't have rust, like the coast do.
Yeah, it's not like Northeast rust.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are a lot that can be saved up here. And with the aftermarket world of patch panels and different things now, it's, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have bought half the crud that I'm buying now. But I'm like, oh, you can buy a whole floor section, with the cab supports and everything all in there. And, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you 2 weeks to do
No, that's
a
pretty
floor
cool.
patch. You just put the whole floor in now. So,
Right.
But there are a lot of trucks here in Kansas and Arkansas and Oklahoma for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. Chad, I was going to ask you, because you're working on projects all the time, how do you balance between that and filming YouTube as well as like editing and scheduling?
I don't sleep a whole lot. I can tell
I
you
know that feeling.
Yeah.
Last night I was editing videos and I looked up. I'm like, okay, it's 1:30 and I need to get up at 5:30 here. And then of course the dog got up in the middle of the night and was puking. So, and that was right at 4:40. So, and then I was like, okay, I cleaned that up. So I'm like, well, I might as well just stay up now. So,
Yeah.
It's more coffee.
I try not to let everything interfere, between Instagram and Facebook, and I'm just getting the website kicked off, and I get a ton of questions from people just, hey, can I do this? Somebody asked me, how do I do the front clip swap from a GMC to a Chevy tonight? But I try to save that until the kids get to bed.
Yeah.
Have time with my wife, talk about the day and all that. She goes to bed pretty early. So then, late at night's my time to get stuff edited and try to get other ideas and topics done. And then I get up real early in the morning and work out before I go to work. So it's just...
You're a madman. Holy smokes.
I am definitely not a healthy skinny. I'm pretty sure about that. I think I'm skinny because of stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just burning the candle at both ends for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs
But
sleep?
I know. I feel I'm going to miss something if I'm, I could take a nap, but why?
Because of all the go, have you ever got writer's block because of that? Or just ideas block?
I get stuck, and sometimes you just get the lack of motivation. I mean, I have enough video ideas to last me 3 years. When I first started, I'm like, what can I talk about? How there's only so much you can talk about with these trucks, and then you get into it, and you're like, oh, wow, you could just go forever.
Yeah.
So now I find that my Stenopad list is so long of ideas that I'm like, oh, it's so overwhelming, or I need to save these parts because one day I'm going to make a video about them.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, am I actually going to get to that in the next 2 years?
Wow.
I'm trying to quit hoarding so much because they're my studio, but if I'm not using them and somebody else needs it, then I'm just saying, hey, I always seem to find deals, so just let it go.
Okay.
You can find another, but I won't lie. There's sometimes I'll try to stockpile and just make 3 or 4 videos in a couple weeks and just have them on reserve, and then I can just chill out because we're gonna take a trip or do other things.
Yeah. We ran into that problem where we backpile and then got to re-backpile just in case.
Yeah.
You
end up using it, and then you're
and they're like,
hole again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I got 7. I'm 7 ahead, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh no, I don't have a video for next week.
Yeah.
Now what do I do?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if you ever need suggestions, I'm always full of ideas.
Oh gosh.
Oh yes, no, you can always call me, and I'll give you 10,000 things to think about too. So.
Well, I might do that. So because I run out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
somebody will ask me a question about something, so I just try to remember to write it down. I'm like, okay, that'd be something good to talk about for sure. So.
Can I throw in this video suggestion?
Yeah.
So I saw you were doing Power Wheels lately, or one of your videos was that. Halloween special, painting one of those to be like, because they're all Jeeps, what it would take to paint them to be like a Jurassic Park Jeep.
Oh man.
You're fired.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I could feel it coming.
You guys you knew, and you didn't even have to ask.
Yeah. It hurts me. Every time it comes up, it hurts me.
So you said that, and I'm like, man, now I wonder how I can make a 71 C10 Power Wheels.
Oh, that'd be so
convert into? Which one can I convert, and then I'll put my beer cooler in it at C10 Nationals and drive it around. So.
That'd be sick.
We'll send Grant out to help you out. I'll even buy his plane ticket.
All right.
The bad thing is it's one way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I do with him next?
Yeah, I don't know. Send him over to the truck farm and Let him get lost.
Oh, I'd be there for weeks.
Yep.
I mean, that place is dangerous for sure. It's so overwhelming. You're like, I leave there and I watch the video and I'm like, oh, I could have used all of these parts and I didn't even realize it because I couldn't absorb all that stuff what I was seeing.
I'll bet. Yeah, no doubt. How many trucks have you done over the years? Like restorations, and I'm assuming you don't really go all out like super flashy or anything, but more of a patina
Probably
restoration.
6. And you know, I find myself like one of my buddies. You get into it and you get it together, and then it's time to go because you're done with it.
Gotcha.
And like a lot of these trucks that we're trying to pull out of fields, I just try to Frankenstein it to look like a truck. And I'm like, okay, now it's there, so somebody can spray paint it. And you know, it's like, well, do you put a small block in it? And sure as heck, you put a 350 in it. And they're like, oh, I was looking to LS swap something. So you're like, oh, okay. Or then you put an LS in it. And they're like, I really wanted a 327 in this. And you're like, so
you can't please them all.
Yeah, so I just try to get them to rollers, and then people can make their decisions there. Because some of it's, I'm building it, but it's not for me. You know, it's just this one's saved. Let's get it down the road.
Gotcha.
Get a new inventory.
Yeah. No, that's super valid, because I was going to ask you about LS swaps and that kind of stuff, but you just basically get it to where it's a good project for somebody. You know, they can drive it if they wanted to, or they can do their modifications or whatever.
And I'm pretty traditional. You know, I'm a small block Chevy guy. Everybody that has LSs, and all, I think it's so cool to get, you know, 325 horsepower out of a junkyard Silverado when you're just spending $8,000 trying to get, you know, 300 out of a stroker.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is crazy how good they are. But I am not computer savvy. I'm just, you know, everybody that says, hey, your first LS swap, you know, it cost you twice as much as it should have, and you don't have the tools for it. But second time around, they say, you know, you'll love it. I don't know. I'm just kind of pop the hood and there should be a small block in this truck. That's what it came with, or a 396, and go on down the road. But
nothing wrong with that.
I'm not going to say I'm not going to LS swap one in the future.
Yeah.
Because I would like to have something that I can drive across the country if need be. But
yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
You know, now I'm like, okay, maybe one day I'll just get a Sniper too, and that's stepping me into the 90s. So
yeah. What do you think of diesel swaps in like older trucks, like people putting Cummins or International motors in them?
I don't have any issue with that, because if you're going to use it and it's going to work, I love seeing stuff fit. And I'm like, so Weston Champlin, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with him on YouTube, but he's pretty huge. But he built the smokestack, so he put the Cummins diesel in his Mustang.
Yes, I remember that video.
Yeah, so he's about 45 minutes from me here.
Nice.
But he does some of the most outrageous stuff, and you know, buying an old Raptor and putting tracks on it, taking it to Winoka to do the sand dunes and all that. I'm like, that interests me, because I'm like, oh, I didn't think that could happen. That's awesome that you figured that out.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm a big diesel fan anyway, so any way you can get a diesel into anything, car or truck.
Got a favorite diesel motor?
I'm a Cummins guy.
Cummins?
I mean, yeah, I just love the old 90s and early 2000s clackety, loud Cummins engine. I just love that. But, you know, my cousin's got a 2007 Duramax, and that thing's awesome too. I mean, that thing just is indestructible. We have put a lot of miles, and we've towed a lot of trucks and cars over the years with that thing, and it's a beast. You know, I'm a Chevy guy that drives a Ford F-150 as a daily. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
So
when we found out we were having twins, I was trying to find the biggest cab that I could possibly find for the least amount of money, and it happened to be a Ford.
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
So of the trucks that you've sold, because it sounds like you've bought and sold a lot of stuff to just whoever happens to come by or come off the marketplace. Does anybody ever bring it back to you, especially knowing that you're on YouTube and you're really into the C10s and stuff? Did anybody come back and show you what they did with their project?
Yeah, and I had a 1979 Chevy Love that I kind of inherited from my adopted grandma. And I love that truck. I learned how to drive stick on that truck when I was 12 years old from my neighbor. And I had a hard time parting with that truck because it was sentimental. But, I'm like, what am I going to do with old love? So I enjoyed it for about a year. I taught my wife how to drive stick on it, just like I learned. And I let it go to a guy that had one in high school. And he was, grown man now in retirement. He's like, oh my gosh, I had that same one. So I sold it to him and he was so happy. Well, about a year later, I messaged him. I said, hey, I found the old service manual for it and I've got an extra spare wheel for it. I said, if you still got the truck, you can come by. And he brought it over and showed me the new dash and interior put in it and all that. And I was like, oh, I love
cool.
it. I enjoy seeing what people do with it, mine or not. I always say, hey, it's your truck, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But I enjoy when guys come back and send me pictures and updates of all that stuff. And I'm not the best, but I try to take pictures of it and post it and stuff like that because I enjoy recognizing other people. Most car and truck guys, they don't do it for, hey, pat me on the back, look what I did and all that, but they don't steer away when I say, hey, let me interview you, you did all this hard work and everybody feels good when that happens. So I do enjoy giving people recognition and letting them share about their vehicles because there's a story to everything. And that's what's so neat about, hey, what happened or what did you find in the glove box of this truck or the ashtray,
Oh, yeah.
to find the history about this thing. So
I agree.
I love that part of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like that. And I think that while they're doing the builds for themselves, it's the process and the project. And that's why we are project guys. We like to do that stuff.
Like to tinker.
We like to tinker. We like to have something to work on. But at the same time, you want to talk about it. You want to share it with your friends or whoever's going to listen. I think that's great to give them a platform to do that. I mean, that's kind of what this podcast is all about.
Literally what our podcast is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I mean, I've listened to several of your guys's and, I think that's what keeps people going too. If you can encourage people and, working in your garage by yourself sucks. Sometimes you lose motivation.
Yep.
You do all this stuff. I'm no expert. I mean, I use a welder, kind of like a plasma cutter. I'm like, I just burn a hole in that.
Turn the heat up.
Weld. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So I'm not afraid to be like, hey guys, I suck at welding. Can somebody come over
figure this out?
My Harbor Freight titanium and show me how to work this thing out here.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Help me.
Yeah. We all need that every once in a while. We can't be, we're not all perfect at everything. Can't be.
And that's fine. But I think that's some of the biggest things. I know some of the things that people ask about, is what's some of the things to warn people about, or when you go into a C10, especially 67 to 72s.
Yep.
When I try to guide people to what they do, but I mean, it's usually you need to come up with your plan. Am I building an autocross truck? Am I building a drag truck? Am I just building a cruiser? And then you got to come up with a budget. It's like, okay, Old Forest here is supposed to be a $2,000 truck, and guess what? It's not going to be.
It's 15.
We have 15.
Yeah.
I mean,
my second is know your neighborhood. We live pseudo rural. We're in a suburb on a double dead end dirt road, and all my neighbors up and down the street tell me they love me and all the trucks and seeing that, but it's somebody a couple blocks away that has a problem.
Not so happy.
Because somebody got in trouble, so of course they're going to cause trouble for everybody else. And
Yep.
some of the stuff that the cities tell me about is not even against the rules, but I'm like, hey, I'll try to keep the peace, because I want to continue to do this. But I'd say know your HOAs, know your neighbors, are they going to be cool with you pulling a cab off and sticking it in your driveway for the next 3 months while you're
right.
sandblasting this in the front yard? Or is this all of a sudden going to be a problem in your town's coming for you? But I mean, it's mainly get the plan, get your budget,
Yep.
know your neighborhood. And then the third thing is just forget all of that and,
Do what you want
change
to
your
do.
plan 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw the budget. Don't worry about your neighbors. They'll keep complaining, but by then you'll hopefully be done with it. But
Yeah, I love it. I love this guy. He's talking my language right now. So, Chad, I don't know if you've heard the episodes, but I have a 67 GMC. That is going to be, it is one of my projects. I'm in the acquiring parts phase of my project, but I know exactly
At least
you're
you
going.
got over the motor phase. You decide on the motor.
Decided. I still haven't purchased it though.
It's true.
So there's that.
What or have you disclosed that to the public?
I have disclosed. Yeah, I am.
You want to tell them the original motor first?
Well, I was going to put a V12 in it. But the V12 that we chose is not. It's not the right one. I can't build the power that I want to. So I've settled on a Viper V10, 8.3 liter.
Nice.
So it's going to be kind of a Frankenstein, but that's kind of what I like about it too. So it's going to be, it's a race truck is what I'm building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for transmission?
A C5 Z06.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've got a transaxle. I already bought all the whole setup, and so I'll have independent front and rear suspension, and
I'm kind of disappointed. You aren't going with a 305 or 350, 351, GMC V6. Come on.
Yeah,
you don't want to
inline.
You don't want to drive a tractor out there.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
So
see, I think that's cool. Whatever you can get jammed in there and make it work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think in 67 is just such a cool year of truck, especially being a GMC. Talk about super rare stuff, which you'll find out getting parts for that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
too,
that'll be fun, right? Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be stock. It can be super custom as far as I'm concerned. So that's fine. I'm not a purist, and a lot of people will hate on me for that, but you know what? That's okay.
It's all good. We got a welder and some sheet metal.
That's right. A welder and sheet metal.
That's right. Hey, it doesn't matter what other people think. You do it for you. And
exactly.
That's the big thing. Too many people are like, oh, I gotta get these US Mag Ramblers because that's what everybody puts on their truck. I'm like, well, I love those, but you're right. Everybody puts those on their truck. So what makes you different?
Yeah.
What's going to make you stand out? I mean, that's what I like is the uniqueness of a lot of things.
Yeah. Yep.
Rob, worst case, if someone says, oh, why is this not this way or why is this missing? You say, it's a race truck, weight savings.
Yeah.
That's right.
I deleted that. There's a reason. That's the reason. Yeah.
I deleted 2 of the headlights. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now it's a Chevy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put a new grill in it. So there you go.
No, that's the way to do it. But no, I think everybody just like that. You find a good cab, you find the paperwork for it.
Yep.
And then everything else you can just build from that point, I mean, you can buy a brand new cab anymore now, so.
Yeah, if you really want to.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's just keeping yourself motivated, even if it's going out and, hey, tonight I'm going to bleed the brakes or I'm going to go change a wheel cylinder,
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a little something here and there. And that's, we're sidetracking a little bit, but I've got 4 other cars that I have to work on at the same time. So
well, it's less than me.
I'm just spreading it out, spreading it around.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I love my trucks and all that, but it's like, hey, I got to replace these windows for the house, and I've got to finish building this shop. And oh boy, which lift do I go by, and what kind of walls do I put up? And it's like, oh boy, this is going to be a terrible winter.
Right. Yeah. All that other stuff gets in the way of the project trucks, and it's such a decision. I have to make that decision all the time. What project do I work on today? Is it car related or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah.
And if I would quit going out and buying other vehicles and buying truckloads of parts and going, okay, now I got to clean this. Now I got to list this. And oh yeah, I'm supposed to building this other truck too.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff takes time. And then, your YouTube channel, that takes time, and researching, and Facebook, and anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole for sure.
Is there any project? I was going to ask, is there any projects that you're not, if it came on like into you, that'd be like, I have to take this, whether it's a C10 or just like, say a Ferrari landed in your life and you're like, I can't pass this up for $5,000, or, is there any thing you could think of that'd be like, I need this?
So I'm a Chevy guy for sure, but I'm also an old Mustang guy. So if I found a 67, 66, 67, GT fastback, I'm like, yep, that's going in the driver. And the funny thing is, I say that my next door neighbor has one that's been sitting in his garage forever, and I'm just like, I should really just put a pen to paper and say, when you're never gonna touch this, but I'm like, where do I put it? I'm like, I
leave it in his garage
next to one of the put her next to one of the trucks.
I'm like, you don't use your boat and Bobcat anymore, so why don't I just rent the Mustang space there and just put that on the back burner? But I'm definitely a 66 Chevy 2, 66 or 67 Chevy 2 Nova, or 66, 67 Mustang. Those two, I was born in the wrong era, but 66, 67s were good years for me of liking cars. But either one of those, if I could find one for the $5,000 mark and be like, yep, that's gonna happen. I do have a car. I do have a very original, nice classic car that I've told no one about.
Ooh, do we get to find out about it?
Yeah. Do you want to spill the beans?
It will end up on the channel sometime soon, but it may or may not rhyme with Mustang. So
is it Camaro?
Did say may not rhyme with that, so yeah, it could be.
Yeah. No, it's a Plymouth Satellite. That's what it is. It rhymed with Mustang. So
that's cool.
That's why we stay subscribed to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I have all these teasers, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had a teaser for you guys, but I sold that one, so never mind on that teaser.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. We've got on our channel the ghost car.
Oh yeah.
And you can't believe how many people come up and ask, "What is it? We need to know."
It happens all the time. Yep, it does. Tell me what it is. You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, and your secret's safe here.
Exactly. Yeah.
The three of us in the room know, and that's too many already.
Yeah.
There's some neat stuff to come in the future. I just don't know how to. I need the shop done is what I need, so I can really. Filming in a driveway in Kansas is difficult. It is. I swear every neighbor comes by.
With what kind
and they want to talk. I'm like, do you see a camera? Do you see my camera? And do you see me talking to myself? Please don't come over.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what are you doing over here? I'm like talking to myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, great, now it's dark and I'm screwed. So.
Missed my opportunity. The light is gone. Yeah.
What kind of setup you do when you film? Do you just put a GoPro down or just a phone, or do you have a dedicated camera? Like, how's your setup?
I looked at Sony's and Canons when I first started, but it's so windy out here and stuff blows over all the time. I'm like, oh man, I can't do a $700 camera that's gonna fall down and break. So I do 90% of everything on my iPhone, and I've got a couple GoPros. I have one, and then my daughter has one, so I'll use those for different things because it's hard, close quarters in these trucks, and a big camera just doesn't work. And
GoPro's pretty good for that.
Yeah, GoPro's the way to go. I've got a secret how I did. I have like 9 of them.
Yeah,
and how you do it. The best cheap way is you go on eBay, and when it says best offer, you just lowball. And you do it 20 times, and eventually someone will say yes. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got a $300 camera for $100.
There you go.
And then you're 9 deep.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, which camera did I put that on? Yeah,
exactly.
all right.
That is definitely, that's when you start painting the memory cards so you know which one's what. It's the red card.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I just bought an iPhone 15 last year, and I was like, ooh, should have went with the 256 gig. That was stupid not doing that. I'm like, I jumped up to 128. I'm like, full. Uh-oh, now what do I do? I'm like,
Yeah.
honey, I need to borrow your phone. Come here. Oh no,
Running into that myself. So a minute ago, you mentioned sandblasting. So I'm very curious about that because I've been looking into that for certain projects that I have. Do you have your own equipment for that?
Well, I've got it like a little tiny Harbor Freight pot one that I use for smaller stuff.
The red one?
Yeah. And then I haven't got the blast cabinet. I'll do the Harbor Freight modification. Build your own $200 blast cabinet. But we've got it. There's a real good powder coat guy here in town that I kind of got to know, and so they go through and bake everything and blast it and all that.
Nice.
I want to have him do a set of rally wheels for me and just see how they turn out and stuff. But he does a lot of the guys' chassis and stuff around here. And then we've got another mobile guy who'll come to your house and do it right in your drive if you want, or you can take it to him. So,
well, that's cool. I didn't even know a business like that existed.
Yeah, you can. There's two different ones. One will do a water blast, or you can just do the full sand blast. Either one. So,
Yep.
I'm cheap. I mean, I won't lie. I'm cheap. I'm one of these trucks that I'll just wire wheel it all down to show, hey, this is how I did it for
Yeah.
50,
Well, I'm
50
cheap.
bucks in wheels, or
Yeah.
hey, I just spent $1,500 powder coating it. So
Right. Yeah, I'm cheap too. I was hoping you had a little tidbit for me there, but can't win them all.
well, a lot of them. I mean, budget wise, depending on your areas too, is a lot of like commercial truck trailer businesses. They have big sandblast booths. So we used to just go through and I'd take a whole trailer of stuff. I'm like, here, I got 12 rally wheels and I got this piece and all that. And they just throw it in with their monster loads. And they'd be like, yeah, that trailer's $100.
No
and
kidding.
Wow. Huh.
Then they changed hands, and I went one day, and they're like, "That's $375." I'm like, "Whoa, what happened?" I'm like,
Wow.
Not a good deal. Not a good deal. All of a sudden.
Yeah. I'll just drag that back home then. Thank you.
It's definitely interesting fluctuations of prices around here in the Midwest too. So
Well, and it does. It seems like that about just about everything anymore. Like you can't trust prices that you had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything's different.
So who do you guys like buying from? Like who's your main auto vendor that you're like, hey, I need something out of a magazine for?
Oh, yeah, that really depends. Race car parts. It can be. So it can be a varied number. It depends on what exactly I'm shopping for, whether I get it out of Summit or if I go to a specialty vendor or somebody like AMT that I buy a lot of my Corvette parts from. Yeah,
and I go the opposite role because a lot of my stuff is for, I wouldn't say restoration, but I make stuff factory. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Is that what you say? Yeah. Sure. My main goal stuff is I go to junkyards, Facebook Marketplace. I get in forums and say who's got what. And just try to, because like, for example, my 74 Fiat, it's like 90% of just one-off parts, like a split window Corvette. So I'm looking for one-off parts and then having to rebuild them. Yeah. If it's race part stuff, a good amount of my Mustang has been built from either wrecked Mustang parts or, from other Fords I've put in there. Right.
Yeah, having a good donor. I mean, I like keeping donor trucks and stuff like that. And that's why I like parting it out. It's a pain to hang on to junk for a long time, but somebody's going to need a piece of it.
Isn't it super gratifying though when you actually get to use one of those things you've been hanging on to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like some of the things I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just order that from LMC or Brothers or something?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, you saved $40. That's why you did it. And there's no tax and shipping and you get it today.
Yeah. So, it's sitting right there. So
I'm the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the room to hoard stuff, but I try not to as much as possible.
It definitely gets in the way.
Yeah.
Like last night I was cleaning up beauty rings and center caps I bought some rally wheels and I don't they're not good enough for me to use on a restored set. So I'm like, oh, I'll just clean these up so I can list them. But I'm like, I just wasted 3 hours,
Oh, yeah.
doing like 4 sets of these, and I could have been doing something else. But
Well, yeah. And how much is your time worth? doing
Yeah,
that?
that's a big thing.
I get a lot of satisfaction from polishing a turd.
Yeah.
It's just, I like the
You polish a
stuff
Cybertruck?
looking. Yeah, it's a trash truck.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I drove one a week ago.
Oh, really?
I've never driven a Tesla. I've never done anything, and we're at a big gun show here in town, and it was in the way of one of the businesses we were working with, and the gal's like, "Here, just move it," and I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know how. So she had to explain how to swipe up and swipe down. I'm like, am I on Tinder here? What am I doing here?
Oh,
She's
my
like,
gosh.
no, this is, and I'm like, what are we doing? And so she's like, actually just take it around, drive it around the building a few times. I'm like, well, absolutely. I mean,
that's awesome.
usually something I wouldn't want to do, but
Yeah.
it was a rear steer too. It was really kind of cool,
Oh, wow.
but it was. I took a picture of myself and then I deleted it. 'Cause I'm like, I can't do this.
You don't want anybody to see
this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be caught in that.
Yeah, I can't do it. Somebody see it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I don't even want to run for parts in this thing.
Up in the Northwest,
Oh.
we're seeing them everywhere like crazy. I swear, like yesterday, I saw like 5 of them in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a lot of them.
They're coming around. We're seeing more and more, but man, it's just, I mean, here, the people that have them, the small Teslas, they like them. And I think the 0 to 60 on these things are phenomenal, but it's just, we're a hot Midwestern place and energy is expensive too. And just trying to get through and getting these things powered. And
Does it get cold there in the wintertime?
so we fluctuate every direction.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll be 110, 115 in the summers, and then we're 15 below in the winters too.
So that thing will not work very well when it's minus 15.
Oh, not at all. Probably won't even turn on.
No.
Yeah.
That's I'm like, well, how do you use the defroster? How's that work? I don't know enough for sure. So
Did you on that note, when Ford had their Lightning out, and they had it for people who are like, what do you do in the winter to save the battery because the battery's so low? Their solution was do not use the defroster.
That's
That
a good,
sounds
good
like
solution. Freezing temperatures. Don't use it.
Yeah.
perfect. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be. It's just weird. I do a lot. I'm a driving instructor and stuff, and I teach driver's ed and stuff as well too. And
Oh, nice.
we're just seeing that these, like the Hummers and the Lightnings and all that, they're just so much heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot more of these heavier vehicles getting through the cable barriers, getting through guardrails.
Yep.
What usually would be a non-injury rear end collisions now an injury because of the mass. It's
Absolutely.
interesting to look at some of the injury prevention side of some of the EVs that are out there, just because they weren't, all the safety stuff out there was designed for fuel. So just a little different to see how these are all going to play out there for sure. So
Yeah. Hey, bringing it back to the C10, I wanted to ask, since you see so many of them and in a varied number of years, is there something common that you look for that like all the trucks rust out in this spot, or the wiring in harnesses or whatever? What's a common something to look for or that you see often?
So the main thing I'm looking for when I go through there, and especially here in the Midwest, what we see a lot is the eyebrow rust up above the windshield on the inside of these cabs, which has got to be one of the biggest pains in the rear.
Yeah.
I mean, they make the patch panels for them now, but it's still just, that seam sealer lasted about 20 years. And if you didn't go back and reseal it, then you got that eyebrow rust coming through, and then it gets into your A-pillars. And then if I see rust up in the roof lines anymore, I'm like, nope, not for me, or I part it out.
Oh, wow.
Because it's just not convenient, and I have a hard time selling them.
Do you recommend anyone that's going after a C10, like if they see that, just don't even attempt the project, or is it?
It depends what it is. I mean, if it's a Cheyenne Super or something, and I'd be like, yeah, it's a good option truck, or it's a 67 big window or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that one's worth putting the money in because of what it is. But a lot of that, I mean, cab corners don't scare me, rockers, all that, but matching, I do got to tell people a lot is, man, look at the chassis numbers and the VIN plate on those and make sure they match, because depending on which state you live in, if you buy something out of state here in Kansas, it's got to be inspected by our highway patrol. And if those numbers don't match, good luck getting a antique title for it.
Yeah,
because they don't match. So it's all of a sudden your 1967 GMC is now a 2024 GMC, 67. You're like, oh, there went the value of that thing. So those are bigger issues that I usually warn people is the cabs, A-pillars, roof lines, and then matching numbers, because that's two things that can really get you down a rabbit hole pretty quick of labor, and especially if you don't know how to weld good. And I don't, and I think that's why I steer myself away from that a lot. I'm just not comfortable.
Yeah.
Putting that roof line patches in.
Sure.
Do you think if you got more proficient at welding just over time, that'd be something that you wouldn't be shied away from then tackling?
I think, but again, now I'm to the point where time is money, and I want to do a lot of the repairs on this GMC, but I'm like, man, my goal is to have this thing at C10 Nationals in Fort Worth next year. So I'm like, man, trying to get this shop done. I'm like, I may have to source this out to one of my truck buddies and say, hey, man, just put these outer floor and inner rockers in and throw me some cab corners and let's go.
Nice.
Yeah. Expanding on Rob's question, is there any common modifications you see done on C10s or any that you recommend?
Man, most of it, 67 to 70s were all 6-lug drums all the way around. And then 71, 72s had 5-lug front disc brakes from the factory. I'm a big fan of always doing the brakes on trucks, and I'm not scared of drums. I mean, I usually don't convert the rears to disc because I don't have enough power to be really worried about, running them hard like that. But I do like having disc brakes up front. I always like doing the suspension work. I mean, unless it's a GMC, so like yours, is yours a leaf spring? Your 67 GMC? Or is it a coil?
Currently, it's a leaf spring, but it's going to independent front and rear.
Yeah. So I like dropping everything. I just like lowering everything. So I usually the drop springs and shock relocators and everything, and always do all the bearings. It's just the cheap stuff that, why not do it? It's easy. You get a dramatic look. Static drop's fine with me on that because it's, for $300-400 you can drastically change the look of those things. But I always like the minor maintenance. Just change the diff fluid right when we get it, and do all the basics and all the seals.
Sure.
Time consuming, but totally worth it when you first get it on the road after 40 years. So
yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're going to have an issue if you don't do it, so you might as well just do it up front.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I'm cheap. I won't lie. I'm a cheap guy, but I'm a big Rock Auto. And I'm a big eBay and stuff like that. I mean,
hey, all us project guys have budgets, and we try to keep them tight. So,
LMC truck is about 2.5 hours from me, just up the turnpike. So, I'd like to partner with them in the future and just kind of see. I'm like, hey, well, how much can I put together out of this catalog? Just throw one together one day. I think that'd be cool. Kind of everybody complains about, the aftermarket doors and fenders and hoods, they all suck lining up. But I'm like,
I want to try.
if you look at some of the originals, they weren't perfect either.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why everything is shimmed and everything. It's just, I get it, but is LMC that much worse than AMD, or does Brothers have better stuff and Eckler's and all that? So it's just kind of, I just like to try that one day.
That would be that'd be a really cool project to just take every aftermarket part they have and see what you could build. How far can you take it? That'd be neat.
You should approach them with that idea.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I figure I needed to get the channel a little bit bigger, but again, they're a Kansas baser out of Lenexa, Kansas, so I'm supporting another local business there too. Mm-hmm. You order stuff online, you pick it up in person, you get 10% off, which is another big benefit. So we try to. Hey, Chad's running up to the LMC today. Anybody want me to pick stuff up? Put your orders in and give me the order number, and I'll bring it back for you. So
that'd be cool.
It's kind of nice to have that opportunity, but I think that would be something really kind of fun to get done in the future. So I'd love to collab with them on one of these trucks for sure. So
yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, I wanted to ask you about Old Bluey.
Yeah. So Old Bluey, 71 Chevy C10. So when I was looking for my patina truck, that all original patina truck, I had to deal working on Forest with my buddy, but he could not get the title work straightened out. It was a guy in the next town over from him. His father passed away, and it was his truck. It had a title, but the kid could not find it somewhere in that house.
Yeah.
I'm sure it got tossed somewhere. So he was trying to go through and get a decedent title. And month after month after month kept going by, and I'm like, what are we doing here, Jeff? Are we getting this truck? What's this kid doing? Well, he said he turned it in and all this stuff, and well, the tag office forgot to send it. It sat on a gal's desk for 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
And she didn't know it. So finally, Jeff, my buddy, picked up this kid and drove him to the tag office and said, what does he need to do to get this thing together? And she found it. Well, I'd given up. I told Jeff, hey, man, I can't wait any longer. I'm not going to buy this truck that, has no title.
Right.
So I searched Marketplace, and there was Bluey. And I was like, yep, that's the one I want. So I called the guy, messaged him on Marketplace, said, hey, man, I'm interested in your truck. And I was like, can you shoot me a picture of the VIN number? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, well, why not? And he's like, well, it's at the owner's house. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
What? And he's like, well, I'm helping this older couple sell it. I was like, well, if you can go get the VIN number for me, and that'd be perfect. Well, he ghosted me. So I was like, yeah, this one's gone. About 2 weeks later, another guy I know that Wheels and Deals old hot rods, he posts the front clip for sale. But it's the whole truck still, it's Bluey, and it's all together. So I messaged him. I said, hey, any chance you'd just sell that whole truck? And he's like, no, I kind of need it. I need the bed for a build that I'm doing for a client. And I said, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know. Mm-hmm. A week later, he called me. This bed's kind of a piece of crap. So why don't you come out and look at it? And I'm like, all right. So I went out and looked at it. And he had it for sale cheaper than it was for sale the first time. And this guy makes money on everything. So I'm like, man, you must have got this thing for a steal.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'm interested. And he's like, okay, you want it? And I said, yep. And so we agreed on a price. And he goes, you probably want me to deliver it too? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So he brought it to the house the next day. And I'm like, awesome. This thing is good. All I need is just throw a motor in it and, get the title work straightened out on this one. This will be easy. And Jeff called me the next day after Bluey came home and said, I got the title work all done on the GMC. It's ready for you to pick up. I'm like, oh, crud.
Yeah, now I've got two on the line.
Wow. So of course I did the right thing and immediately went down there and picked it up. And I was like, well, it's green, so I gotta keep that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Bluey was going to be parted out, and I was going to keep it, and I was going to sell it, and then I got a short bed chassis, and I was like, well, it's got a good cabin title now. I'm going to put that on my short bed.
Yeah.
And I got some complaints, so I was like, maybe it's just time for this to go. Mm-hmm. And then when I was like, I'm just going to put it for sale. If somebody bites off on it, I'll let it go. That's when Michael messaged me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just one of those randoms, hey, is this available? Yeah, of course it is. You know, can you
Sure.
send me more pictures? Sure. So I sent more pictures and all that. And he's like, okay, well, it looks pretty good. He goes, let me check with my my business partner, which I assumed was a wife or something, you know,
Right.
and all
So
that.
you didn't know who Michael was at the time.
I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
You know, it's just some random dude.
Yeah.
That was 7.5 hours away. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Yep.
Yeah.
Business partner. And so next day or 2 days later, he messaged me. He's like, hey, my partner and I were in. We just need to work out some logistics. If it's okay, can I call you tomorrow and we'll set up payment or something like that. So so then I clicked on his profile. I'm like, all right, who is this dude?
Right.
I'm like 7.5 hours away coming to get this truck. What?
Yeah.
So he called me and explained who he was, and I'm like, holy smokes, that's cool. And then he said, hey, we got to get it done quick. We're sending it to SEMA. And I'm like, then I felt real. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I sent you good enough pictures, right?
You do realize what this is, right?
I'm like, I'm brutally and overly honest sometimes, but I'm like, you did see like the rust on like the rockers in the cab corner, and you know it has no bed, and he's like, no, it's perfect, and I'm like,
okay.
I don't know if I have faith in you now if you think this is perfect.
Yeah.
But,
That's so funny. Yeah.
so then he told me the story. I was like, holy crud, this is pretty cool. And,
It is. So have you gotten any updates on that thing since?
So I know I've got some.
Yeah.
I knew Richard with Apex Auto was going to go through and be working on a lot of the body, and he came up with Michael to pick it up. So we got to shoot the breeze for a while and all that. So I know they've got all the paintwork corrected on it now, and they've got their logos and some other pinstriping done on it, which looks really slick. And they were going to be putting a flatbed on it, and he sent me a picture of the flatbed the other day, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
But I was like, you're going to change the wood on it and all that, right? And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to make it pop. So
Yeah.
They were ordering their wood for it to get it stained out and all that. You know, he was just going to, I offered him some parts too to get it going, this and that, but they had lined up an engine for it, and they were going to go with their own steering column and all that stuff. But they're going to use some of the new interior on it, and they just came out with their new CTX seat, which looks pretty slick to me.
Yeah,
and all that. So I am really excited to see how their whole interior package turns out in that, because
me too. I'm excited to see that truck. We're actually going to be at SEMA, so I'm going to go see it live. So that'll be pretty awesome.
I haven't told anybody yet, but I'll meet you guys there.
Sweet!
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I hadn't told anybody yet, but I got the green light. So
That's awesome.
They accepted me in, so
that's so cool.
We're definitely going to need to meet up. It'll be hard not to spot us because I'll be on the leash apparently.
Yeah.
Rob's like, come back here.
We gotta keep control of this guy. Yeah,
we got a rainbow unicorn backpack for him.
I'll be that Midwestern guy walking around Vegas going, man, it smells like weed everywhere.
Right? Yeah. What's going on?
What's that skunky smell?
I'm like, what is this place? Man, this is a big city up here.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll hit you up when we're down there. We'll meet up. That'd be good.
No, that would be phenomenal. A lot of I've been watching Josh Paris and all them too with Gas Monkey on their trucks they're building and stuff like that. I got to meet Josh at Nationals last year and help him load up skid mark and all that up. He let us see the truck when we got rained out of the last day, and he was a stand-up dude. I mean, it's really nice meeting folks that are just normal people, even though they're celebrities.
We won't let you meet Grant then.
No Grant Hanna?
No,
not normal.
He'll be dosed up on Adderall. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just get him drugged up.
I try to be normal, but I can't.
Perfect. You'll fit right in.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't know. I'm just that Midwestern guy. I did go to Seattle last year. That was the first time I'd been out there, and that was interesting.
Was that like kind of fully different environment, like feel wise, because of all the trees and everything else?
It was, and I've always wanted to go. I had a conference out there, so my wife, I was like, "Hey, you want to go out there?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I was a little nervous with all the homeless and stuff, and what we were going to expect walking around everywhere. And we stayed downtown, and that last like 4 miles coming down the interstate with just homelessville.
Yep.
Tents and everything all down the. It's kind of depressing, not to
pretty
lie,
bad.
but
it's pretty bad.
But I just thought everybody was smoking crack everywhere. So of course I'm inquisitive. I'm like watching everybody with their foil. So I just went and asked somebody. I'm like, "Are you smoking crack?" And they're like, "No, it's fentanyl." I'm like,
"Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's even better, even more deadly,
better."
Yeah,
I'm like, that I didn't know. So, but no one was aggressive with us except for one night we walked way too far from the Space Needle trying to get sushi, and that was a mistake. And I thought we were going to get tased by somebody that was not a police officer, so that was cool.
Oh, fun!
But everybody was pretty hands off. Everybody. I mean, I felt pretty safe. So.
It's not too bad, but yes, the homelessness and the drugs on the street, it's pretty rough.
It's gotten better than the last year or so.
I don't know. I stay away from downtown. So.
Yeah, same. But yeah, it was way worse in the last few years downtown in Portland specifically.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I stay away from downtown. I mean, my job kind of requires it, but daylight hours only for me, thanks.
No, well, hey, I enjoyed it. We went out on the ferry and we got to look back at the city, and it's a beautiful place. And I'd fit in and out there with the weather because I'm like, I hate wearing sunglasses. I don't mind rain and stuff. And, but the doom and gloom feel. I'm like, overcast days are my favorite. So,
well, we got a lot of them. Yep, you can probably come out here anytime and just feel right at home.
Yeah,
there's places I'd like to explore, but I'd like to get out to more shows. I'd like to go to Dino's, and I'd like to get to C10s in the park. And they had C10 Nationals at Nashville this last week, and it'd be fun to get out and see something different. I love Fort Worth; it's huge, and all that. It's 6 hour. I say easy. It was probably the scariest trip of my life going down there last year. You never know what you're going to get commuting, but weather, hail, wind, lightning almost killed us, floods. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's an adventure. Put that one in the books.
Yeah. If you haven't watched that video, just watch the one where we are like going to nationals.
Okay.
And lightning hit like 25 feet outside of our window.
Oh.
It hit a power pole and it exploded, and I'm filming back.
Oh.
Just doing like a selfie view of us talking, and it glitched the camera. With electricity, but it's like daylight in there, and then the explosion. I was like, well, this is cool.
You caught it on film. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
We had an 18-wheeler go up on its side in straight line winds. That was good. It was just hail. It was a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip for sure. So,
well, adventure, man.
That's why I enjoy patina trucks. We're like, oh, well, it hailed on it. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. So, switching up gears, though, Chad, I got a question for you. For anyone who's trying to start out getting on YouTube or trying to get into video making, do you have any advice for, any of our listeners out there?
Yeah.
He meant him.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, always asking. My big thing is just filming. I think Media or somebody I watched when I was trying to figure out how YouTube works and all that, and they're like, just hit record and film.
Just go.
And know you're going to suck at it in the beginning. And, I do a lot of public speaking anyway, but it's different when you're standing in front of that camera and no one's around you talking. It's just awkward at first to do that, but cheap, as long as you got a good phone with a decent quality, I say you're good to go. You don't need to spend the money on the cameras and all that. A GoPro or, an Osmo, something works just fine, but you got to have good audio.
Yeah.
I cheaped out in the beginning and didn't have any mics, and it's windy all the time, and that's terrible. And then I bought a crappy, $100 setup, and I'm like, ooh, 2 mics for $100, and then it sounds terrible too. So then I just kind of upgraded and got a DJI mic set, and it's been good, and I don't have to worry about it failing or anything like that. But as long as you got good audio, you got that, just start recording stuff, even if it's time lapse in the corner, or you can always go back and put a voiceover on it and stuff like that. But
do you have any video editing programs you recommend or that you use?
So believe it or not, I am so basic. I just use iMovie 90% of the time.
Okay.
And the reason why is I'm not going to do these great 3D lightning effects and all these things in there. I'm just kind of, and I always have a phone with me. So, if I'm sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's office, I can be editing there. I'm sitting in line to pick up the kids for 20 minutes. I can knock something out instead of just using my laptop all the time. And I'm a touchscreen guy, so it's easier for me to edit on my phone than using the mouse and different things like that. But a lot of guys that I know use Final Cut Pro. They've had DaVinci as a learning curve, but it's good software there too. But I would definitely say if you're one that films on your phone, having a way to send it back and forth. I like AirDrop. I'm not a huge Mac fan, but I bought one when I started the YouTube channel, so I can AirDrop a lot of stuff. So if I'm running short on space on my phone, then I just AirDrop it over to my Mac.
Yeah.
And then frees up that space, and then I can bring it back over to my phone to edit that video, 2-3 months later if need be there. So it's, and iMovie's free.
Yeah.
So,
free is always good.
It works out. Yeah, it works out fine for what I'm doing. But if you're going to be pretty technical, I use Artlist for my audio, for my music and all that stuff. YouTube's got a really good selection of audio and music too to choose from though too, but it's a lot of stuff to choose from. So Artlist seems a little easier for me to go through.
Okay.
Any of those paid subscriptions, you get the licensing, so you don't have to worry about getting a copyright strike. So
that's good. I was worried because your videos are really good. The way you chop it and shift different scenes and stuff. And do you script a lot of the stuff you're going to say on it, or do you just do it on the fly? Because it's really impressive.
Kind of both. I usually try to build an outline of, I don't word for word anything, but it's just like, okay, especially when I'm doing like the year specifics. So I'm getting ready to do my buddy's 68 C10 and just talk about all the year specifics of a 68. Well, I've got to have an outline. It's like, okay, front end, so, hit all the outside of the front end, and then, okay, cab, outside of the cab, and then bed and interior. So at least I have a direction, because, I'm out here and I see the UPS guy, and then I'm like, what was I talking about now?
Squirrel.
I was like, is there parts? Is there parts in that truck for me?
Right. Yeah. No, I just stopped saying hi. Yeah, that was all.
Yeah. No. What was I saying?
Yeah.
But no, it's good to have an outline, but I don't think I tried to memorize stuff sometimes early on, but then I'm like, that's not the way I talk. I mean, I watch back at myself. I'm like, that sucks. I don't like that, because I'm thinking. You can see me thinking as I'm talking, and I don't like that.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do that enough on a regular basis. I don't need to try and memorize something.
Well, and then you find it took you like 7 hours to make a 7-minute video because you recorded that same scene 50 times. And you're like, oh my gosh.
I know that all too well.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
But I just say start cheap and you can always build. I'd love to get a drone. That would be my next thing that I'd like to purchase, just when we're pulling stuff out of barns and fields and stuff. But at that point now, I've learned that, hey, don't go buy a piece of crap from Amazon. Go get something decent. Because I've bought some junk, and it wasn't worth it on there. But spend a couple $100 on a good mic setup, upgrade your phone if it's getting a little bit older, and have storage on your phone. That's one big thing is
Storage is huge.
don't skim by the most storage you can get on that phone up front, and then you won't run out. So
Yep, that's
but
good.
no, it's good. I use YouTube Studio that for a lot of my uploading, just all my analytics and all that, and it's smooth. I enjoy it. I do. I answer all my comments and questions from people. You know, the channel's not that big, but somebody messaged me on Instagram the other day, just, you know, hey, it's awesome that you actually responded, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you had a question, so.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
I'm like, I don't forget where I came from, you know.
Yeah.
We're still just people here.
Yeah, I get it if you're Derek on Vice Grip Garage, you know, you can handle that.
Yeah.
All yourself with the amount of comments that are coming in, but
Yeah.
I try to do the best that I can and
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
not interfere with my life, my normal life. So
Right. Your everyday. Yeah. So we just got a couple more things, some basics that we tend to ask everybody. So
Sure.
What 3 vehicles are on your list of I would really like to drive it someday?
And that's vehicles. Cars, trucks,
Tanks,
tanks,
boats,
aircraft.
airplanes.
yeah.
All of it. Yep.
So when I was thinking about this, so that was a tough one for me, but I think 3 I want to drive would be a newer Porsche 911.
All right.
Okay.
Spider, any of the. I've always, out of all the, I don't know why, growing up, you know, it was the Lamborghinis and watching all that.
Yep.
But now I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. And then Ferraris, but I've always been a Porsche guy. I don't know why. They're smaller, they're lower. It just seems like I could handle it and see out of it better than McLaren and anything else. So I've never driven a newer Porsche. NASCAR.
Oh, a NASCAR.
You know,
NASCAR.
I used to be a big NASCAR fan, and I've ridden in them as the passenger, you know, at C10 Nationals and all that, but I've never done the NASCAR experience where I get a drive.
That would be awesome.
And all that is just raw horsepower and the loudness.
That'd be so
you
cool.
know, that just would be awesome to
Any
me.
genre of NASCAR specifically or era?
Probably, I'd probably say that mid 2000s, you know, I was a big Jeff Gordon fan in the earlier years and all that. So kind of the Luminas and all that, still the Days of Thunder era too,
Gotcha.
you know, just where it wasn't as safe as it needed to be at the time. So
Yeah.
just go. You don't need a restrictor plate. Just go.
Just go.
And then I think the last for me, I am a big truck guy, and I'm a big fan of Brian Finch with Finch Performance, building all the autocross trucks for C10 Nationals and doing the share the ride events and all that.
Yep.
Just having a C10 to be able to stick like they do on the autocross tracks, I think it's just so cool, because the first time I got in with Danny with his team, I was like, this is going to be bad. How can we come into this corner this fast in a pickup?
Yeah.
And it holding on, like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's literally the reaction people give me when they're in my Mustang. You're like, how is this boat sticking?
Yeah. Well, it's a Mustang. You've seen the videos. That's why they're scared.
Normally people die.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. It is. I think that is what's so neat. I mean, when we teach like pursuit driving and all these different things with different companies and stuff, it's just like, ooh, this is what a Dodge Charger can do, or, you know, but then doing it in a new Mustang or, you know, a Challenger or any of that, I'm like, there's just so much difference, you know, in a sports car or, you know, an autocross, something built to do it. It's scary. I love that part of it. So
no, that's cool. That's really cool.
But I think my 3 favorite cars, and I'm fairly old school here. There's nothing new in here, but favorite cars is 66, 67 Chevy 2.
Yep.
67 Mustang GT 500.
Oh yeah.
in a 2000 or the 2002 Pontiac Firebird WS6.
Oh,
I
nice.
just always loved it. I always loved the ram air on the Trans Am. So
Yep.
that last era with the LS in it, and I just thought they looked so much better than the Camaros then.
Do you think a Trans Am always needs a screaming chicken on the hood?
That's a valid question.
I wouldn't have liked it on that 2000 to 2002. I just think the all red with the ram air on it, I think it would look weird to have the chicken on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just love the Pontiac amber or red gauge. I just always loved those. I just thought Pontiac was such a cool line of vehicles for all the years. I was very disappointed when they ended.
Yeah. Discontinued.
I thought it was a good line of cars.
Yeah.
But that would be my number one. You know, I got to step back, 22 years and say I want a 22-year-old Firebird. So.
You know, if somebody hears this, they know how to find you.
Oh yeah.
They'll be like,
right.
I have one. I'm willing to sell it. I'll part with it.
I will sell it to you for 4 times what it was brand new. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and 4 times what it should be worth now.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's real cheap.
Yeah. Dirt cheap.
An arm and a leg.
Arm and a leg, and you get the sweetest cassette player you've ever seen in that thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, I'm surprised you know what a cassette player is.
No doubt. Yeah.
People love it. So my Discover card, Discover credit card is a cassette.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
And it's awesome when people don't know what it is. I'm like, this sucks.
Even better.
We're old. We're old now, man.
They're like, what is this supposed to be? Oh,
Yeah, and they're like, what is this thing? I'm
killing
like,
me.
if you had this in a pencil,
It's a
you
pencil.
would understand life.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's really fun.
Yeah, if you had the cassette with the wire hanging out of it, you were really cool then. 'Cause you could listen to your
Yeah.
Discman now off of that in your cassette player.
Yep.
I mean,
I had
life
one.
was
Absolutely.
good.
Yep. So cool. All right, Chad, what is your hard no? What car is a hard no for you?
I would say a full EV.
Full
So
EV.
I mean,
Full EV.
Teslas seem neat, but I am not. I want something with fuel. A hybrid's okay with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want that. But I even hate the newer cars, that shut off at a red light. I just don't like that.
That's so
you
bad.
know?
Yeah.
It just
Start, stop.
It just and I know that I'm just old school thinking, man, that's so bad on a starter, but it's
That's why. Luckily, the newer
they work.
diesels don't shut down. I don't think.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not. It's like anything new.
With
Hey, have we tested this out long enough to know it's going to be good?
yeah.
Are we getting forced to have, lane departure warning on our cars? Are we forced to have forward collision avoidance? Are we forced to have all these things on our cars to keep us safe? But are these features making us better drivers? No, they're making us worse. They're allowing us to be on our phones more. It allows you to be impaired.
Yep.
We're relying on these cars to fix our problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heck, there's people in Teslas that are asleep behind the wheel.
Yep. I've seen
Yeah.
it.
And
Yep.
I just don't think the infrastructure's there. I'm not ready to relinquish power.
Speaking my language.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm fine getting on a racetrack and letting a full autonomous vehicle drive me around there, but I'm not going to get on the interstate here and want that to happen. I'm just, I have a hard time letting my wife drive, let alone a car drive itself. So.
Yeah.
Oh god.
If you could narrow down electric cars, what would be the hard no for a specific one? Like a smart car electric car, a Tesla, a Rivian?
Yeah,
No, they all suck. He said they all suck.
I know, but if there was one specifically, that's like I can't.
I would be in a Prius and I would get in a Tesla. I would never get in a smart car because I just consider it a coffin.
Yeah,
it's a small coffin.
If you get rear-ended, you might as well just be buried in that thing because it is just. I'm a motorcycle lover. rode motorcycles, had motorcycles, but when I moved to the city up here, I'm like, I couldn't sell it fast enough. Yeah. And that was pre-smartphone, you know, and that was before everybody was texting and doing all that. Now I'm like,
yeah, there's too many people not paying attention.
Yeah, it's that part's really trippy for me. So I guess having lane departure warning and all those things is probably helping those type of people that aren't paying attention, but
Maybe.
It's not. Yeah. It's not making us better drivers. It's just allowing them to do it more.
Yeah, yeah,
and that's hard. But I don't know. I like adjusting the carburetor. I don't like sticking the computer into my car. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just, if I would get into LS and get fluent, then I would absolutely probably like, why does anybody do a small block? But I haven't fully jumped off the cliff yet and bought into it.
It might happen someday.
If you ever want to go that way, we could always put you up together with John. He'd be a good one.
Our HP tuner guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a mentor. I mean, like right now, if a high school here in town said, hey, we're going to allow this 45-year-old guy to come in and do welding class with us, I'd be like, sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
You guys don't have that down there? Like, legitimately, we have it. So in Oregon, our community college does that. And even they have a night welding classes they have at the high school for even adults.
Grant's trying to set you up with something.
Man, see, that just right there. I would do it, you know. Yeah. I mean, I have oodles of extra hours in my life.
Right,
to do stuff like that. But
between the hours of 1 and 5 a.m.
Yeah. I'm like, why don't you guys have 24-hour JUCOs here? What's going on?
Right.
But I mean, that's something you can't learn on YouTube. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't have the feel for it, or you don't have that mentor, and that's what I really need on some of this stuff. And
I had a
go ahead.
I had a buddy of mine who didn't realize how hard welding was. This is about a month or two ago. He's seen me do a bunch, and so I gave him a MIG welder. Pretty easy because it's just, you know, and you could just, or actually, I gave him a MIG welder because, you know, hot glue gun. And within probably 10 minutes, he's like, this is way harder than I thought. He's like, it doesn't look anything like yours. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve.
Well, absolutely. And that's the thing is with anybody, you know, just same with starting a YouTube channel, just jump off the deep end and see what happens, you know.
Yep, there you
go. You'll figure it out. You're forced to figure it out. And that's what I'm excited to get the shop going now, so I can burn the shop down and not burn our house down in the attached garage now. I'm
excited for you to have the shop, and like that's going to bring up a whole new realm of YouTube videos for you and all the things you can do. A shop is an amazing tool.
You know what the shop will do for you?
What's that?
It'll free up 2 more parking spots for projects.
Oh yes, it will.
That's what my wife, she's like, so everything's out of the driveway next, right?
No.
I'm like, well...
It could be out of the driveway, but it's going in the garage.
Yeah, I'm like, well, what they can't prove sometimes is that vehicle operable or not. If it looks like it could move on its own, then we can get away with keeping it in the driveway. But the other crap's got to go in the garage for sure.
Yeah. Well, and here's the next thing is what I did in my shop is you end up buying a parking lift so that you can get more stuff off the floor. And then you just bought floor space.
That's why I don't have a lift in my shop.
Yeah.
So
I've got 3.
What lift do you like? What's your recommendations?
I've got a Atlas 9,000 pound twin 2-post lift, and that's my main lift that I use for cars and SUVs and whatever. I've got a Max Jacks that I had in my old house, so that'll fit in a standard garage. It only lifts like 48 inches, but it's great. It's a great lift.
You said you love that one.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic lift. I mean, especially if you have low overheads, right? And then I'm drawing a blank on the brand that I bought, 4-post lift. And so that one, you know, drive a car on, you can drive another car underneath it, and you just bought yourself an extra parking space.
It's got to make sure it doesn't leak.
Well, no, it's got drip trays.
No, I'm saying the car on top.
It's got drip trays.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all protected. So
See, I'm leaning towards a 4-post in mine.
Yep.
Because when we built the shop, I wasn't sure where I wanted to put the lift, so I didn't. I mean, we still put 5-inch concrete down,
Yep.
which I can hold most 2-posts, but I just didn't know where we wanted it. But
Yeah.
I should have built bigger than I did. But it's what the city would allow after
if
6
I
months
could,
of fighting with them and all that. But
if I could
I just
only
feel
do
that
one, I would do the 2-post. If I could only do one, it
Yeah.
would be the 2-post for sure.
I'd agree with that. I'm looking at getting a lift for my shop, and 2-post is the way to go because you could just do so much more with that.
You can. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and that's what I'm wondering. How big's your shop
My
or your shops?
Mine is 45 by 50.
I'm gonna sound
Okay.
spoiled. Mine's one of them is 60 by I think 60, right?
No, it's
Jeremy?
bigger than
60, 80, I
60
think.
by 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 by 100.
Yeah, that one's pretty big.
I have
See,
a construction family has a construction company, so it's one of the extra shops.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I have a 30 by 40, and I'm like immediately I outgrew it. There's nothing in there right now, so
Yeah, I mean, happy to
like
have
it.
it though. I had my shop previous to this one was a little bit smaller than that, 32 by 36. But
Okay.
it was workable. Super good. Yeah.
Well, I thought about a 4-post because Advantage is down here. Advantage
Yeah.
lifts, and I love their lifts. And Tony's awesome and all that, but I just like that it's mobile, so I can move it when I need to. It's like, oh, you need to paint, okay, wheel it over in the corner. You need to bring this in, move it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
again, then you're stuck with, unless you're spending another $1,800 on a jack for it.
Yep.
You aren't doing suspensions,
Right.
so I'm a ways from the house out where the shop is, and I'm like, I don't know if they can hear me scream if it falls off a 2-post. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My older buddies say get a 4-post because you ain't gonna be wanting to crawl underneath of it
My rule
when
of
you get
thumb.
older.
My rule of thumb is whenever you're crawling under a vehicle, you always have a phone within arm reach, either on you
true.
or within reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always use the props, the jack stands. I put those front and rear. That way,
Yeah,
you
front and back.
Yep,
That's-
can't tip off. Because I'm
that's-
there by myself. So
Yeah. Does your shop have
No,
a
that's-
name?
a name.
Yeah.
No, we're working on it,
Okay.
and that's the.
Well, have your twins name it.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Grants
Yeah. Mine's got a name.
we thought of a couple different things, and I don't know. I keep my identity somewhat quiet
Well,
and all
yeah.
that, but
Yeah,
there's some funny names that would go with our name and all that. But
yeah.
so I don't know. We're still working on that. The oldest has been trying hard, but they were upset to see Bluey leave for sure. So
Right. Yeah. Well,
like,
something will happen.
yeah, I said sorry about that, but Michael's gonna do way cooler things than I ever imagined. So
Yeah.
it's going to a good place, and he's such a good dude. I mean, it was being able to talk to him, and he's helped me out with a lot of stuff, and he promoted the Bluey and all that stuff for us. So it's just I'm glad to partner up and work with him, and just a lot of good things will come for it. And hey, we get to go to SEMA now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that from a random nobody clicking on, hey, can you send me more pictures, to going to SEMA.
That's pretty sweet, man.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's super cool. So
Yep.
I'm always very gracious of people and you guys inviting me to come and visit and talk and all that. It's just, when we started this, I had no idea
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
what would come of it.
yeah, and just like your journey too, we're meeting a lot of great people, from across the country, and we're all like-minded into cars and that kind of stuff. And it's expanding our community, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Well, if we don't do it, what's next? That's my big thing is I see less and less people being interested. So I'm like, man, inviting that neighbor kid down the street over to the house, if you don't have kids or grandkids, and say, hey, let me show you how to change the spark plug on this old thing, or hey, let's show you why we rotate tires.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, spread the
We
love.
don't. Who's going to be our mechanics in the future?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, that's
just
no joke.
And sometimes it's those needs. Like that's how I got into cars. Was my neighbor in Sun River, older gentleman, invited me to go replace a heater core out of his car with him, and we spent 3 days working on that.
Yeah.
You know, and that just changed everything. It got me hooked on cars right after that.
That's pretty cool. Last thing, Chad, and you kind of brought up the SEMA's. Like, what are you most excited to see at SEMA? Like,
man, that's tough.
all right, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, everybody tells me, they're like, good luck. You just got to kind of limit what you want to see because you won't have enough time to
see it all.
to see everything and all that.
If you say Grant, that's also an acceptable answer.
Yes.
Yeah, but yes. What didn't that come out of my mouth already?
Earlier when we were
number
talking
one.
about the leash, that was
I forgot to mute. I forgot to mute Grant. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm probably the most excited for the people. You know, I love the cars and all that, but you know, to meet you guys in person and to go through and watch people I see on TV or, you know, going through and just the networking part of it because again, I'm trying to get ideas. You know, I'm like, okay, that's a really cool idea. And maybe it's on a Jeep, but what could I do to my trucks or, you know, how could I branch off and get something that would benefit our viewers and stuff out of that. And I just don't know what to expect. You know, I've watched several videos of SEMA and stuff, but I'm just like, man, that's so much. I'm like, I'll be happy just to go walk through the Harbor Freight frickin' vendor.
right.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I look forward to that.
You know, just stuff like that. I mean, most everything I do is online because we don't have any showrooms. We don't have any of the big business, you know, here. So, I mean, a lot of aviation stuff here, but not a lot of auto stuff here.
Sure.
So that part will be, and I haven't been to Vegas since like 05 or 06. So
wow.
Just being up there.
Yep. Now it'll be
how about you guys?
Just super overwhelming.
What's on your list to see?
Yeah, I'm excited for the resto mod area. That's kind of my thing. I like that, you know, in race car parts. That's so I'm super excited for that, and I'm just preparing myself to be completely overwhelmed.
Oh yeah.
So I've already started looking through all of the different buildings, and I think the thing I'm most excited for is tool storage, and not necessarily like your rolling toolbox in the garage.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to tools. I like tools and knickknacks and gadgets.
You do like gadgets.
Yeah, that and Ferraris. I'm looking forward to those.
You know, just the two little things.
Right. Yeah. Ferraris and knickknacks.
And then you'll hang out with me, and I'm like, can you believe that they charge $22 for a cheeseburger at this place? This is insane.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Wait till you go get your first Bud Light, and it's $21.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I went, I was like, oh, sweet, it's $9 beer night here. This is great. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, that's cheap. It's like happy hour. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Stock up at happy hour for $9 each.
All I remember is walking the strip and hitting CVS pharmacies and buying like tall boys there and just putting them in sacks. And I'm like, all right.
Yep. That's still a thing. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm really ready, but I don't have expectations. Really, I'm just thinking, hey, what am I gonna document when I'm there, and what, you know, I just figure, hey, just hit record and
see what happens.
You'll meet people and you'll forget to hit record, and then you're like, dang it, that would have been a good idea to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I call a lot of people Guy because I'm terrible with names and stuff too. So I'm just like, hey, Guy.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, Chad. Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just excited to go through and absorb.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many times have you guys been there?
0. It's their first time to SEMA, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
first.
so it's all right.
Yeah.
So awesome. So
Yeah.
hey, newbies to the crowd.
For sure. Yep. Newbies to SEMA.
Maybe I need a backpack and a leash too. And you guys can just guide me along too.
We'll bring an extra.
We'll let you hold Grant's leash.
Yeah, okay. I just don't want the shot collar one on.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting you know if there's any dinosaurs there, we're gonna be there for a while.
We're like, can you believe they have Jurassic Park Power Wheels?
Right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang it.
There's your second Easter egg.
Yep.
There it is.
We got it. That's how I'm like, hey guys, I've been holding this one vehicle off for, it's a big surprise.
Big surprise.
It's Jurassic Park Power Wheels.
Oh my gosh.
It's right there for you.
It's the best. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That'd be so good.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, Chad, I really appreciate your time tonight. I mean, we really held you over, but I appreciate you hanging in there, man.
Yay.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, I'm having a good time. So
Nice.
I tell you, I'm a yapper. My wife's like, I thought you were selling a fender. I'm like, well, she's like, you've been outside for 2 hours. I'm like, oh, man, it's been that long?
Yep.
She's like, what do you talk about? And I'm like, I don't know.
Stuff. Yeah, stuff. Guy stuff. Cars.
I'm like, I sold him another $300 worth of crap. She's like, okay, take your time then.
Yeah. There you go.
But I also
like,
bought $500 worth.
Yeah.
Some guys came over last Saturday, to pick up I was helping my buddy's dad sell some 55 Bel Air parts, and so I came over and bought some hood hinges. I think they bought like $80 worth of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I see you do all the C10s and all that. And he's like, you interested in a set of rally wheels? I'm like, I don't know, what do you got? And he's like, some 6 lugs. And I'm like, yep. And I was like,
No.
I was like, well, crap. Well, here's your money back.
Yeah.
I walked in. She's like, how much did you get? And I'm like, I got wheels. Like, this is not how it works. Like, but they're going to deliver them for free. So
Yeah, right.
you don't have to do it.
Oh my gosh. That worked out. That's hilarious.
A swap meet and me is terrible because I go out there, I put my sign out, 67 to 72 stuff, and I have a steno pad, and I get more names and numbers, and I buy more crap from people after the swap meet's over.
Oh man.
And get more leads on stuff by leaving there than
hilarious.
I sell the crap.
Well, they
So
do
I'm
call
like,
it swap. I mean, you're just trading. You're trading your stuff for their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is a lot of them aren't buying my crap. They're just giving me their info so I can buy their crap when I'm done. So.
Yeah. That's just sharing the wealth.
Dang truck orders,
Yeah.
It's the Chad going to C10 Truck Nerd was probably the right move, changing the channel name a while back. So
Yeah.
if you are going to start your own YouTube channel, don't do a stupid name. So
Well,
you never know know where your channel will go.
Yeah, but I
Right.
mean, look at someone like Mr. Beast. That's a stupid
Yeah,
name.
that's true. So
He's got a couple
Mr.
million
Beast,
followers.
he is from Wichita, Kansas.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
So he went to South High here in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh,
believe it
wow.
or not. Yep.
wow.
I was like, who would have known?
Yeah, small world, huh?
Yeah,
Dang.
and that's my thing. I'm like, hey, you guys wouldn't mind telling 350,000 of your closest friends to subscribe to our channel? That'd be super. So.
Yeah. I saw that. I could use some of those followers as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Spread the wealth.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a click, right? You can do that.
Yeah. My kids watch guys drive through car washes with the windows down. That gets millions upon millions of views. I'm like, well,
Really?
maybe we should just roll the windows down and go through, Club Car Wash here and see what happens.
It couldn't hurt
Maybe I can.
a little bit.
I'm like,
Wear your safety glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Interesting.
true.
Mm-hmm.
That hot wax would not be good.
Oh no! But the shine.
Okay, tell me this: are you guys patina guys or paint guys?
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a fair question.
I'll answer.
Okay, go for it, Jeremy.
I'm a little of column A and column B. It depends on the truck.
I was kind of leaning down the middle like that too.
Yeah.
I think
I can see a love for both.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I'm a paint guy.
Yeah.
You guys know me. I like things that look just
Shiny.
right and
Just
shiny and
Yeah.
yeah. If it's patinaed out, if it's cool when it's painted and done right that way, and I can respect and appreciate someone doing that. But I like it when it's just like really a good, decent color or colors.
Okay.
Just painted.
But how badass would it be jumping in a patinaed truck to drive down to the parts store to pick your shit up?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I like the fact that you don't really have to worry about it.
You're right.
You don't care.
Wait, are we talking like the painted patina or like it's
No.
actually rusted?
Actual.
Oh, okay.
Rusted.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it hard.
Because I can see, because like for my 67, I'm just going to leave it. I want it to operate and be all the functioning that I want before I even consider painting it. That being said, I know exactly what I want to paint it when I do it.
Yeah.
If I do it.
No, for me, patina feels unfinished, and I always like finishing things. And if I see that, I'd be like, well, no, that needs to be changed up or bolted together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has a little bit of, what's the word for it? Like, I like the unfinished a little bit.
Like the Apache we saw a couple weeks back.
The thing was sick.
I got a question.
We'll say it.
Okay, because the Lambo, I've done the entire running gear and everything else, and mechanically it's like a race car and built.
Yeah.
But the body's like all not finished. Is that patina?
That's not patina.
That's I think that's a different, which is called junk.
Yeah.
It's fiberglass. It's not patinaed.
Oh.
Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, when I remember when patina, like when Gas Monkey came out, patina, and I'm like, that's the stupidest crap. That pad will be here for 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, it's 22 years later and it's still here. So I'm like, maybe I'll try this.
Yeah.
But I think I wouldn't ever patina one to do it. I mean, I would definitely, I want a patina truck and I want a shiny truck.
Yeah.
I want one of each, but I want to be able to go cruise and go to Home Depot. And if a shopping cart catches 50-mile-an-hour Kansas winds and hits the fender, I'm like, well, that sucks, but oh well, let's go.
Right.
Versus I'm not going to drive my 71 C10 because it might rain today.
Yeah.
So I want one of each and call it good.
Well, I kind of like the idea of my truck looking like shit on the outside, but just being a beast.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely rolling somebody.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the ultimate sleepers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's I don't know, less likely to be stolen, less likely. I don't know. I just don't like worrying about stuff.
Yeah.
And especially like doing the channel now, I don't always want to be around the truck, but I don't want to be worried about it all the time too. Of, oh no, somebody leaning into that and rubbing their fat belly against it, what's going to happen here? And I'm like,
yeah.
But I don't know. I like other people's opinions on that too, because I care anyway.
Well, we're not a lot of help because we're like right down the middle. Because I like a nice shiny, perfect paint and everything's exactly the way it should be. I think that's awesome because I know how much work it takes to get it there. So
would you disclose what color your 67 would be?
Yeah. I want to do like a light Nardo gray, and I was thinking of like an off-white rally stripe.
Nice.
Set of rallies down the middle. Yeah. So I think that looks sick.
One of my best buddies I partner with, he built a 71 C10, and it was the traditional white three-tone with Nardo gray.
Yes.
Favorite C10 ever.
Yeah.
So it's on one of my thumbnails for C10 Nationals a couple of years ago. He won C10 Nationals with it.
Oh.
But it's such just a unique. It's just not traditional to have Nardo, so
right. Yeah. Yep. It's not a traditional C10 color for sure, but I like that color so much.
Chad,
I agree.
I got one last random question for you.
We said that a few minutes ago.
What is your thoughts on truck squatting?
Oh my gosh.
Terrible.
Just threw up.
Terrible. Right?
No, I just wanted to know.
Dude, bro.
I just imagine my dog every time. I mean, like Chevys always need to be lifted in the front a couple inches just to get rid of that rake on a decent looking truck. But going too far it's just too far. And I don't like any rake. I mean, I just like I don't like. Yeah, it needs to be level to me. If you got rake in the back, I don't dig it. But I don't know. What wheels do you do? Do you do 18s? Do you 20s? Do you do 15s on a stock truck?
Well,
like these old trucks. What's your guys' thought?
For mine, it's going to be 18s because race tires. That's the best size to get race tires. I'm going to do 315 square. So, yeah.
Mine's all about usability. Size-wise, if it's for like a work truck, it just needs to have enough to a little bit go off-road, but nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. If it's a street truck, keep it like at 16s, 17s. You know, I don't see the point of having 24s on the truck with a thin profile tire.
Oh, no, those are ridiculous.
Or having like, you know, a 5-foot tire if you're not going to go off-road with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So for mine's all about usability.
Yeah, I agree. I'm old school on some stuff, but I'm like 18s are probably my favorite if I'm gonna modify anything.
Yep.
If not, I grew up with Centerline. I mean, they were Convo Pros, but they were the HT2 version, so it was the satin finish of a Convo Pro back on my first truck that Dad and I built. And I just love the looks of those wheels, but in the town that I grew up in, small little town, Wellington, Kansas. That's where Hallebrand started. It was downtown Wellington, Kansas.
Oh, wow.
I've always been partial to Hallebrand wheels too, so that's pretty neat to see some of those there. But yeah, I'm wheel selection for the next couple trucks. I'm really struggling with. So
well, yeah,
I don't know what I want to do.
They've got to fit the layout of the truck. You know, the personality of it. I guess even. They got to fit that. If it's just a street truck, it's got to say street truck or something.
Or you could put tracks on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go see Weston and he'll throw me some tracks.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, yeah, I love what wheels can do for a truck, but I see so many people do wheels and tires first, and then I'm like, well, that was a bad idea to start with, and then they lower it and. But that's where I come into play too. Is they're selling their brand new stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'll take that from you since you didn't plan that out well. So
there is that. Yep, change directions.
That's a big benefit. But now I'm getting into leaf springs. This GMC is a leaf spring as well, so now I'm trying to figure out how to budget lower it, and there's not a real good. Other than a flip kit in the back, I think it's probably the cheapest route I can get.
Yeah, yep. I would say that's it for sure. Yep.
I might try to de-arch the springs for a fun video, but take it to the spring place here in town. But I'm scared that one side will drop 4 inches and the other side will drop like 2.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a risk for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, it's content, right?
Exactly.
How badly can this go? Right? Yeah.
Just watch Shed and you'll find out.
You'll find out what not to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be careful. This is what to look out for. Mm-hmm. Right on.
Well, yeah. Well, stay in touch with me.
I absolutely will.
Let me know let me know off the record where you guys are staying and all that.
Yeah,
in Vegas and all that, and we'll stay in touch and meet up.
That sounds great. I will definitely hit you up and let you know where we're at.
Yeah.
And we can meet up and go have a beer or something at least.
Yeah, I mean,
wander around on leashes.
Yeah, I definitely can afford to buy the first round, and that's probably the only round.
That's it.
So you want to go off strip then?
Yeah.
6 miles away.
Yeah.
I mean, wherever's got the best Zima, I'm in. So
you and Grant are made for each other. Oh, shoot.
That's my favorite line. Everybody laughs when I say Zima, and I'm like, well, it was pretty tasty back in the old days.
Dude, my dad used to drink that like water.
Well, it kind of was. Water. That's funny.
That's funny.
Right on.
Well, cool, guys. Well, thank you guys for the invite, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Thanks very much for coming on. It's been great. And, we will definitely look you up. And the YouTube channel is C10 Truck Nerd, right?
C10 Truck Nerd.
C10 Truck Nerd on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check him out and hit follow.
Instagram, Facebook, all that, and then
Okay.
our website is C10trucknerd.com that we're just finally starting to launch. So
Yeah, that's new, right? Yeah, the C10 Truck
that
Nerd.
is new. It's just a kind of a preview page right now. So I've
Sweet.
been working on it the last couple of weeks, getting it behind the scenes ready to go live.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, Chad. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely,
And,
guys. Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate your guys' couple hours too. So
You bet, man.
See you down in Vegas.
Yeah, see you in Vegas.
we'll see you boys there.
All right.
See you soon.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
Bye. Wow.
I wrote a few things down from that conversation.
That dude's freaking
He's
awesome.
awesome.
Okay, so the first thing,
Okay.
Yeah.
he mentioned some of the weird shit you find in the glove box.
Oh, I should have gone back to that.
Right, so
Yeah.
Episode 2.
no.
I'm sorry, what?
That's for episode 2, part 2.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe,
But
maybe we
what's
hook up with him down in Vegas and do.
What's the weirdest thing you found in a car?
Personally?
When you bought a car, what's the weirdest
Oh,
thing?
when you bought a car. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen the car.
Condoms in the glove box.
Yeah?
Yep.
I've been in junkyards. I use panties in the Mustang.
Oh,
Okay, well,
that's
okay.
good. Okay.
I'm not
That's
judging
funny.
Antonio's payment of stuff. No, I'm joking.
so
Called you out, Tonio. Oh my God.
I had bought a car for one of my girlfriends, and we took the center console out, and underneath we found 4 hits of acid in a plastic bag.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I've never found it. I don't think no drugs. No, never found any drugs.
I will say with the junkyards, they
But,
do
yeah,
like
condom.
pick and pull. They have like what was in the car finds,
Yeah.
and I found some cool stuff in there that they have like at the front. They
Like
buy.
in a bin, they just throw it in a bin.
Yeah, so like I've bought like 90s boxed video games. So that was kind of cool
Cassette
from
tapes.
PC. Yeah, cassette tapes.
Yeah, 8
I-
tracks.
Yeah, so like there's some stuff you can find that's pretty neat.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
honestly.
found a container like that's supposed to drop down into the spare wheel and hold like lug nuts and all that
Right,
stuff.
right.
Fuck, I took that thing right out, threw all kinds of shit in it, screws, nuts, bolts, all that stuff, and took it right to the counter.
Yeah.
And they gave that to me free.
Sure.
And sold everything else for like pennies.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now that's actually a really good question. That's something maybe we should start bringing up too. Is what
Yeah.
have you found in the glove boxes?
Yeah.
Good catch for
Yeah.
sure. What else did you write down?
What else? I wrote 4 things down.
I saw you write, and I was
shop
like, "Well,
name.
this is new."
Shop
He's
name.
writing. What's going on?
I didn't want to forget.
I didn't know what to do. I was like,
Okay, so the shop name, Grant's Shop, I got to name it a few years ago.
"Okay, what's it called?"
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Because everything we do there turns from a 4-hour tour into, oh God.
There forever. That's great.
Yeah.
Should have told Chad that.
We were trying to be, yeah.
We went off. We went off the rails.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what's the most interesting thing you found in a car truck? Okay. Oh, sandblasting.
Yep.
The sandblasting, I think, is interesting, right? Because there's all kinds of different stuff. And like he mentioned,
I was looking
the
recently.
big rig thing,
Yep.
they have bays where you can drive them in, and it's actually built into the floor.
Sure. Yeah.
And, they close both ends, sandblast, whatever it is they're blasting.
Right.
And then they can roll it out.
Right.
The coolest thing I've seen as far as those go is the new laser thing that they have.
I've seen that.
Did they make a
too.
laser one removal like on a truck scale? Like where they
I
can-
don't know if it's truck scale, but
Yeah.
it's
I've
like
seen the small ones.
yeah, it's like a little CO2 laser that
Yeah.
you can drag around the driveway and like, and it.
But does it work?
Allegedly, they do.
That's the key.
Allegedly, they do.
Because
They
if
make
you'll
the
remember
coolest noises.
Jason Braunberger, his episode, he said that he sent away for one, right? He bought one online and it never showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you can't
Well,
give a
that
review on
sucks.
something that hasn't shown
Well,
up.
that's what I'm saying is it may not be a real thing.
no, I think some of them are, and the ones that you see,
Yeah.
like I've seen them on YouTube and stuff like that,
Yep.
where they're actually using them.
Okay.
Those are, I don't think they're cheap units.
No, I
I
can't
think
imagine.
I think they're like $8,000 or $10,000
Holy shitballs.
but
now.
for now. But the stuff that they can do with them, I think,
pretty incredible if it
amazing.
really works.
Yeah.
No, I agree because just the videos or whatever I've seen on it, it looks neat as shit. If you can actually laser paint off or rust or scale or whatever, that'd be pretty awesome. But I just want to buy a cheap sandblaster that I can clean some shit up with.
Well,
Yeah.
for
have
our
one?
company, yeah, I've got two. I've got the cabinet one, the
Yeah.
I was talking about. I got that
Right,
one,
right.
and I've got the red pod one from Harbor Freight. Both of them.
How's the red one work? 'Cause I
So
was
the
looking
red
at that.
one, I haven't used too much, but our guys have and have had success with that.
Okay.
It just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
The one thing is you need dry air.
Yes.
And when you don't, it
clogs it up.
Clogs it up pretty easily.
100%.
That's one thing to know.
Yep.
The cabinet one, I have a love-hate thing with that thing.
Yeah.
Because the way it sucks in the sand as it falls down.
Yeah.
You're also putting all your waste product in there.
Yes.
So then that gets back in the tube and then clogs
It
it
can
up.
closet if you have big waste. It doesn't. It's supposed to have a screen down there though, to pick up the big stuff.
It's
Sort of works, sort of doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Harbor Freight. What are you going to get?
I think if it
Everything
was
you buy from Harbor Freight, you have to modify.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and that's the thing is it was modified. That's the other thing is the glass broke, so I think it's only plexiglass on the top. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's decent. I like it. It needs to be modified, but I'd recommend it for if you're doing like the reason I bought was the Fiat. Again with rare parts, a lot of it I had to restore in house
Right. Right.
because he can't go and buy all those parts.
Right.
So by blasting them down to bare metal and then seeing what's still there and good, and then repainting it or modifying or whatever.
Well, maybe I'll just parts that I can handle. I'll just bring them out and do them at your place.
That works.
Okay.
Or test it out and see if you.
Well, that
If
could
it's
be too.
viable.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's viable. But I need want / I was thinking about getting a bigger one because I want to do big car parts, stuff you can't put in a cabinet. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I can tarp, I can screen it all off because it'll make a bloody mess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But or do it out in the driveway or whatever
That's what my grandpa had was one of the driveway ones.
That's one thing I'd recommend. So with the box cabinet one, one thing I found was the back venting for it is an open vent, and so dust will come out of the back.
out, yeah.
So how we solved that was we put a vacuum to it, but if you have too strong a vacuum, it'll make a negative pressure and suck in.
Yeah.
And then if you have the vacuum blocking the end of it, now you have positive pressure from air going to it.
Couldn't
so
you
it's a fine
just
balance.
use a filter? Can you just put a filter on it?
I mean, I guess.
Problem solver. Stop being smart. You stop it. You just stop.
So, well, there's also one other thing is why you'd have that is because while you're in the cabinet where you're blasting it, you have dust coming up and that blocks your view a lot.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so by having the vacuum, it sucks it away, so you have a way cleaner thing to see what you're looking at.
Yeah, like you said, it would have to be a light pressure.
Yeah.
Just to suck the airborne dust out.
Correct.
Gotcha. No, it makes sense. I don't know, just something I was looking at because I'm trying to figure out what best, because I don't want to fucking grind it. I don't want to be the grinder guy.
Why not?
Because I hate
Or
it.
the wire wheel guy.
Wire wheel guy.
I mean, I've
I don't.
done that too.
Yeah, and honestly, you can't get as.
Detailed.
Thank you. Perfect word. Yeah, you can't get as detailed with a grinder wheel.
The other thing that I see with wire wheels
Yeah,
is
scratching.
hitting.
Yeah,
it scratches the shit out of whatever it is taking it off.
yeah.
Pitting.
It depends on what gauge of wire you're using and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's a real issue. If you're doing something that is later going to be finish work, you don't want to do that.
You know what the worst is with wire wheeling is
Getting it in
I'm
your
putting this to
belly.
our listeners, telling you when
I
you
know
buy
what
a
it
wire
is.
wheel, you buy a good expensive one.
Yes, buy the quality.
Cheap ones,
They come apart and stick in
apart.
your skin.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've had it where I've worn sweatshirts
Yeah.
and I'll pull out an inch long, 2-inch, wire in my gut.
Yeah.
Have
Done.
a good.
Yeah, you got plenty of padding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that hurts the worst.
Oh, it does.
And
I've
not
done the
hurts worse,
same.
But like sometimes, like when I had one in me, I was like,
feel
well,
it
I'm having
catch
some
on your
pain.
skin and
I
on
couldn't
your
figure
shirt.
it out until I saw a little thing and pulled it out in 2 inches.
Oh.
And I can't imagine, someone having it happen just to forget it's there. So
Well, that
with
shit- yeah.
wire wheeling, go expensive, make it quality.
The wheels. Yeah, don't buy the wheels at Harbor Freight. That's a bad idea.
Yeah,
They're too cheap.
the pack grinder wheels aren't bad there though. Grinder
Yeah,
wheels.
I've got a few of those.
And the sand, flappy wheels.
What color?
Flappy wheels are better. The grinder wheels, you have to be careful because
Yeah.
they will shatter.
Yeah.
So if you want a good grinding wheel,
Mm-hmm.
go to a tool shop. And I'm not talking like Harbor Freight or any of those kind of tools.
Okay.
I'm talking about a CNC tool shop.
I bet, yeah.
So
I mean, most of our listeners, including myself, are not going to spend that kind of money on it.
no, but
Grinder
they're
wheel.
not super expensive.
Really?
But
Okay.
the pink wheels that they sell there,
Are we talking 4-inch grinder? type?
Like
Yeah.
a bench grinder, like a.
Oh, okay.
I was
Well,
talking like 4.
Yeah, we were talking like handheld.
Yeah.
But they make
Peanut grinder.
smaller ones.
Yeah.
They make smaller wheels too. But
Yeah.
those pink wheels,
Mm-hmm.
so much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just smoother.
Oh yeah.
I think a good place to go where we go for when we're buying any wheels, wire wheels, whatever, is we go to Airgas.
Yeah, Eric. I was going to say
Any
the same
welding shop,
Yeah.
you'll get way more higher quality there than a Home
Agreed.
Depot, Harbor
Oh,
Freight,
yeah.
or whatever.
thing. Yeah, agreed.
It's worth your time to go there and invest on that stuff.
Yeah, I use air gas quite a bit for a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, that's cool. What else did you? I don't know. It seemed like you had
Distracted driving.
distracted driving.
He mentioned
Oh,
distracted driving
Yeah.
and being nervous about people hitting whatever painted vehicle you have.
Yeah.
4 times this weekend.
Hmm.
Don't even.
We went out to Hood River.
Oh, okay.
And people were swerving all over the place as we'd pass them. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
Everybody on their phone.
Old dude on a phone.
Yeah.
4 times.
Wow.
It was an old dude on a phone.
Stop it, old dude.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? And different cars. Same old dude, I think, but different.
Same old dude. He's just changing cars. Coming up behind you. There he is. I got him.
Our listeners.
Get in front of you.
How do I use this TikTok thingy?
No, he was trying to listen to our podcast. And he
Probably.
couldn't find it.
Probably, you know.
Couldn't figure out how to get it hooked to the car.
Right. Bluetoothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like vehicle must be stopped to pair. Mm-hmm. What does it mean, pair?
Yeah. What's pear? That's a good fruit.
Yeah. I like me some pears. So this doubles is one of the coolest things I saw this week.
Okay.
This topic, the Porsche 6-stroke engine. Anybody see that yet?
Okay, so Engineering Explained talked about it. I didn't get to watch the video. I saw like the first 10 seconds. And I'm like, okay.
I saw it. It's actually pretty interesting because I was like, wait a minute, how are they working a 6-stroke engine?
I don't understand how you
I
can
will
even
explain.
get 6 strokes.
Let's do it.
I will explain.
Okay.
So, and I don't know how they do it with the timing of the camshaft. Maybe there isn't really. Yeah, I don't know how they do it with the timing of the camshaft on the exhaust side. So this is how it works.
Is there a cam?
Well, I don't know. They got to open valve somehow.
Well, because you could have like a camless, like free valve, like Koenigsegg. As it was
It's a Porsche, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think anybody
I didn't-
but Koenigsegg has that yet.
Some Chinese companies do.
Yeah, I have no idea. Because this just explained the cylinder part of it. It didn't explain how the cam timing works.
Okay.
Or the valve timing. So first stroke is an intake stroke. Okay.
Okay.
Let's gas in. Okay.
Okay.
Piston's at the
Don't
bottom.
whistle.
Yeah, piston is at the bottom. So the piston comes up for a compression stroke. The spark fires. Piston goes down again.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a normal 4-stroke, almost 4-stroke.
Normal stroke. Piston comes up again. On its way down, the intake opens again. Lets more fuel in. Okay.
Okay.
We haven't had an exhaust stroke yet.
Nope.
So hang on. So after the first combustion goes down, and then
It comes back
it
up.
comes back up to a compression.
Yes.
Okay, still with all the exhaust, and then
Yes.
it starts coming down.
Starts
And
coming
that's-
down again.
and that's what comes.
And opens the intake valve again. Lets more fuel in.
Same direction,
I'm sorry. Say
same
again.
duration.
It doesn't. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
So lets more fuel in, comes back up, another combustion, so sparks,
Okay.
combusts again, comes down,
And then exhaust.
and then exhausts. So you're getting 2 combustions, single exhaust.
Why would you do that though?
Well, they said that
Power.
you actually make more power, and it's cleaner.
Cleaner.
Somehow.
Interesting.
I think by,
Turboed car? Do you know?
don't know,
Okay.
but I think by burning with the exhaust in there, you're burning it again, right?
Yeah.
So it's a potential that you're actually burning some of that exhaust off
Right.
of the first stroke. So then you're only exhausting basically 1 stroke for every 2.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out because if
It's
you're
like a reburner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so if you're doing
An
that,
afterburner.
I wonder if it makes it so the second time the air fuel mixture with the exhaust in there is able to mix better. Because
Yeah.
on performance cars, you actually, when it's on the exhaust stroke going up, you actually open the exhaust a little bit to create a vacuum to
Yeah, it's all in the timing and
Yeah.
your what do you call it? the amount of time that the valve is open.
Yeah,
and
but
when it opens, so you can retard your timing a little bit, right?
But if you're having a system like this, at the 6-stroke on there, how you wouldn't be able to change timing or variable timing on that, correct?
Well, I have no idea. See, that's above the pay grade.
Yeah.
It's above what they explained.
above what they explained.
Yeah, this was a very simple diagram and show, it was a rendering of how it works.
Yeah.
Right? A cartoon almost.
Okay.
So very simple, didn't show the valves, didn't show how that all works or anything like just that this is what a 6-stroke is. This is what they've come out with.
Okay.
So I don't know. I thought it was really fucking
I'm going to have to look into
really
this
neat.
because, it's the 2 extra steps is why I want to know what.
Yep.
And how that gets
they do
beneficial.
That. Yeah. Well, I think the benefit was you're like reburning that exhaust gas.
Yeah.
So that is actually eliminating some of your exhaust. So you're getting 2 strokes with only the exhaust of 1.
Yeah.
Basically.
But I guess what I'm saying is if it's better to do that, A, can be retrofitted on other cars.
Doubt it.
Because you're having a different.
You'd have to redesign it.
You'd have to redesign all the cams and then the timing of the valves and all that.
The second thing is, should we expect not only manufacturing here out doing a 6-stroke cycle, but then we should see this in performance? So like drag racing.
Who knows? Quite possibly, because apparently you can make quite a bit of power with this type of system.
Yeah,
I don't know how it makes more power than a standard one, but that's what they're claiming.
That would be interesting in a top fuel dragster.
Exactly.
But also think about this. This is brand new patented technology. Nobody else is going to be able to do this for how long is a patent run for?
Years.
Yeah, 15 years, something like that. And then if they renew it, they're the only ones going to have it.
Yeah, or you can license it out because here's
you
the thing
could absolutely. I mean,
it's Porsche,
Porsche, Audi,
Porsche,
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen owns that. I would be very shocked if we don't see that going to Audi, Volkswagen, Bugatti.
But they're going to sell it in their top end stuff to start with.
True.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a Bugatti thing first.
I don't know.
They're saying Porsche.
I'm gonna have to look into that. That's really cool.
Anyway,
that's freaking cool as shit.
Yeah, that's something I saw this week, and I was like, and especially after I saw the demonstration of how it works, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Do we want to
all kinds of questions now?
Do we want to do the other 2 coolest things then?
Yeah, go for it.
Mine is actually a paint color.
A paint color.
A paint color.
Let me guess. The absence of color. It's that ultimate black.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, this one was a metallic flaked. They called it murder cherry. So it's a cherry base.
Okay.
With more metallic.
More murder in it
and more black.
Yeah.
So it was like a really deep dark red. It was cool.
Yeah.
And it just happened
Murder cherry.
It just happened to be on like a 68.
Is it similar to the murder giggle?
Kind of.
Thank you, David, for telling us that. Murder cherry. Wow, that sounds pretty neat.
Interesting.
I'll have to pull it up and send it to you. I might have sent it to you guys on Facebook.
Oh, well, I probably didn't see it because there was a lot of stuff in there. I was like, nope.
Not looking at this.
Not looking at that. I open, maybe every 4th one.
Yeah.
And it depends on,
you got to open that murder cherry.
The funny thing is, too, I get these things in the middle of the day. I'm like, I don't have time for this right now. I get these messages, and then maybe I stumble across it sometime later in the evening or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't feel like it. So, I don't know.
That's not going to happen.
Right. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Oh.
What do you got?
Coolest thing I saw this week.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about last night, but I can't say it because we already said the Easter egg. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That's tough. My cousin had an event earlier this week where there was a bunch of cars there, and we saw a lot of cool things there.
David?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw you with him the other day.
Yeah. We had a few cars, like a 90s ACR Viper show up with a Mistachrome paint scheme.
Oh, Mistachrome.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Someone represented a smart car company, one of David's friends.
Okay.
And he builds lift kits and big tire kits for smart cars.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
They're stupid.
A guy in Portland started the business.
Yeah.
I kind of want one.
My old man wanted one. He was talking about it. He's like, this is cool. We want one.
They're interesting. They are cool. I'm not saying they're not cool. It's the dumbest cool thing you've seen.
One of the things we were talking about was the fact that like you can buy a smart car cheaper than you can a brand new golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it's like, why would you not buy a smart car? Because then you can
drive it on the golf cart.
if you need
build it into a golf cart.
So could that be the Alaska vehicle? A lifted smart cart? I mean, I would probably get laughed off the island.
But money for you to drive a lifted smart car up there north with Chad and then video it.
With Chad?
Yeah, because it was hard. No, it was an electric smart car.
I wouldn't do an electric car.
No.
Oh, okay.
It would have to be the 3-cylinder gas.
I thought you were going to do that Unimog that you saw.
I want that M205 really bad, but
by the way,
I got to get my wife on board.
They make a manual smart car.
Yeah.
That
would work. I mean,
but it's nuts. They're mid-engine,
35-inch tires,
and you can get with big tires on them,
70 miles to the gallon.
So
or something.
70 gallons to the mile.
Yeah, so I think that would be a cool thing. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know if this counts, but the Cobra, that was a cool thing being around that this week.
The Cobra, your Cobra.
Yay!
He did have to work on it a bunch.
I saw that he had to fix it. Ignition coils went out.
No, when the ignition
MSD ignition went out. Didn't it?
Yeah. But a lot of people thought it blew the engine.
Oh yeah, because it just died.
No, because I don't know if you guys saw this on Instagram. David posted a story, said
how it started.
Me and David in the car, excited.
Yeah,
we're driving. Next one is me behind the wheel.
How it went?
I'm like, you ready? How it went, and it's shift, just hard shifting, going fast. And we're like, we're giggling like crazy.
Murder giggle.
In the murder giggle.
How it ended.
How it ended was it being pulled up on a flatbed.
Yeah, I did see how it ended. But I didn't see the other part.
I didn't notice this until Jeremy pointed out, and then every other one of my friends pointed out. They're like, "Did you blow the engine? Why is the whole deck of the trailer covered in oil?"
It was too.
Was it that way before?
The guy had told me that he had beforehand picked up a drunk driver who'd ran off the road, and that's why his truck was covered in oil.
Gotcha.
So I'm like,
sure
this
Dad
makes
was
the best
super
story.
Gotcha.
Excited.
Just the way it turned out.
Yeah, and where it broke was the best spot. We broke on the spot going downhill.
Oh yeah.
It broke because we got to a light. Had a guy that came next to us in a Lexus, and I'm like, David, I'm telling you, this guy wants to race. Nah, he doesn't. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to. Light goes green, guy takes off. I'm like, yeah, he does. So a hammer on it, first gear, second gear. And again, not going crazy speed, just, up to 45, 60 miles an hour.
Not going felony speed.
No, and then the speed limit on that one was 55 anyways.
Okay.
So I get to second gear, third gear, and the engine's still running. Push the gas and there's nothing.
Oh.
And I look at Dave and I go, car's dead. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, and I'm like, car's dead. What?
No power.
5 seconds later, all the power dies.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So we pull into the gas station, and I'm thinking, this Cobra, by the way, for our listeners, has a 351 Windsor built to a 410 block. It makes 500 horses at the wheels and gets 4 miles to the gallon. So
I think thought it was to rephrase that.
What?
It's a 351 block built to a 410.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
No.
Kind of. Not really.
Okay.
You got the point, though.
Anyways, it gets about 4 miles to the gallon, and one of the ways we track it to verify that is we reset the odometer to check the miles, and we were about 100 miles. We're like, okay, well, we're pulling in, we fill up, we thought gas, no. Thought it was flooded, no. Again, no tools on the side of the road. There for 2 hours, and I was able to diagnose with, a guy was able to give me a crescent wrench that I found at the gas station, and from there it could be like, well, we got fuel, we got spark. We got fuel, we got compression, there's no spark.
Yeah. And
so I'm like, well, I can't really do much. And that was a blessing in disguise because bringing it back to my shop, getting into it, finding the MSD box failed. Mm-hmm. On top of that, the main power ground had completely sheared off the back. It just was worn out.
It just wore through?
It wore through.
Was it rubbing on the frame?
It was kind of rubbing on the back where the battery was at and stuff.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it's better happen now rather than, say, for example, 2 hours before that, David had taken one of his kids out into the country with that.
Oh, yeah, be stranded out
or
there.
I had last weekend before, I was in Sun River in the middle of the woods, 2 hours out, barely cell phone service.
Yeah.
It's good it happened then so I can address all the things that need to be, that I can tune it up and did give it a tune-up while I was there. Mm-hmm. and it made me realize I need to put a small toolkit in there for if it does break down. These are still the cars you can fix while on the road.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, if you can get the parts, or providing it's not something major.
A lot with tie wire, a spare thing of wire, and some duct tape.
Duct tape, baby.
But more importantly, having a wrench, having maybe a small hammer to hit something if need be, and then the last thing is a test light. Didn't know if you're getting power anywhere.
Gonna use a rock to hit
Or rock.
with.
Had to.
Grant's out there hammering on an AC Cobra with a rock. What are you doing? Trying to fix it. Just trying to fix it, man.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing at all. All right. Any other stories you want to share? Because, like, we're doing pretty good tonight, and I want to just hit the last couple of items.
Well, we got the Lambo to talk about.
Kinda.
Kinda? Oh, then you can tell the story.
Well, I don't need to tell the story. I just, is there anything new? I didn't feel like you had much time to work on it since the last time we talked.
No, but I don't think the listeners heard about last time. Did we talk about the engine being seized?
Yes.
On the air?
Yeah, we did 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did we say how I
You weren't
solved
here
it?
last week.
I was not here last week.
You sure you want to go into that?
How I solved it? Mm-hmm. Is this going to get...
I thought we already did.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I could have swore we did.
I got it turned over.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, because well, hang on. There's theories that it could not be my mess up, why it wasn't.
Okay.
So,
Just recall that you are going to sell this car at some point.
oh. So anyways, I'm going to get it running soon.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's well, I should just address the people. It was seized up due to my mistake?
Operator error.
Operator error, yeah.
The actual block itself is not seized up, and that was
Yeah.
the good part about going through that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that will be fixed.
Yeah, we did talk about it last because you were saying when you were looking up through the bottom, you could see the holes that the guy drilled in the intake and that kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
motor builder.
Okay, I couldn't remember because we have conversational time. I didn't know if it was a phone call we had or not on that
No,
one.
that was on air. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
All right. Well, nothing much new there, but we'll reconvene once you drive it.
yeah, the tow truck driver I talked to, he really wants to know the updates on that car, what's going on with it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So he was
excited. He's excited to listen to our podcast, and I told him he's got some stories, and he wouldn't be mind coming on our show. To listen to our show and let us know if you come on.
That might be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Drivers of, or what is it?
Tim the tow truck driver.
Stories of a tow truck driver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that could be good. Mm-hmm. All right, so I was just kind of brainstorming tonight, like what things we could talk about post. You never know how long interviews are going to go.
3.
I'm going to start at the bottom though.
Oh,
Yeah, because I want to do those other ones last.
okay.
All right.
Where's the bottom?
Thoughts on using different brands to build into your build like a Frankenstein. Like my truck is not. It's not all Chevy. It's not all GMC. It's not all one brand.
Well,
so,
you got GMC and you want to put a Viper motor in, right?
Hang on.
exactly
That kind of stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's my thought. Like, what are your thoughts? And there's purists out there that will super frown on that kind of stuff. I'm taking a GMC.
Yeah, I don't care.
No. I'm taking a GMC. I'm putting a Chevy Corvette under a truck.
Yep.
I am putting a Dodge Viper motor in it. There will be other parts that are not native to that vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. And I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that every build should be that way or, whatever. But how do you feel? How do we feel about those kind of builds?
Okay, I gotta know. Brand, does the model, like if you're keeping the same brand but interchangeable for model, or are we talking like
No. I'm talking.
Are you okay
different
with
brands.
putting a
I'm talking
Ford
different
part
brands.
on a Chevy vehicle?
Exactly.
Or a Chevy part on a Ford
and
vehicle?
we're not talking like something like you could put parts from a Supra onto a BMW. We're talking like,
Well, yeah, that's a similar thing, but
they're the same car.
Okay, I got a couple examples.
yeah, I know what one you're talking about, but not necessarily.
Okay.
You are way overthinking.
Yeah, he always does. Everything is an overthought. We got to dumb it down for him.
Yeah, no, you're overthinking this.
Okay, so
Is it okay? So I've actually got a couple examples of this,
All right.
right? So when I was younger, I had a friend that had what everybody called Pagoda.
the goat.
Okay.
It was a bug body.
Goda.
It was a bug body sitting on a Toyota pickup chassis.
How did how did that fit?
Everything. I don't know how it fit. He had to chop it down.
Oh, okay.
He had to shorten it
Really had to shorten it. I thought it would
a little bit.
Really?
Not much.
Toyota. He had to shorten the Toyota. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So he had to shorten the Toyota. The motor fit underneath the front, the bay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how we did the floor pan, but it worked and it ran really good.
That'd be really cool.
It was neat.
It's kind of neat.
So that was one thing.
Yep.
My idea for my 64 Ford 4-wheel drive when I had it was Dodge running gear, newer Dodge running gear under the Ford body.
Yeah.
So, Cummins and the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
personally, I like it.
Yeah.
If you can make it work and make it look good, more power to you.
Yep.
I would never say I'm a purist.
Me either.
I want to see cool shit, right?
I agree. That's where it's at. The cool shit.
Yeah.
I think he's more of a purist than
Okay,
he thinks he is.
no,
He's
no,
a
no,
purist.
okay.
Yeah.
If it's a Ferrari, you can't put anything but
The
Ferrari
guy over there
words
in the corner that's
Hey.
raising his hand.
He's
The purist.
let me tell you, gentlemen. Okay.
Can you reach the mute button? Let's turn him off.
I'm on the wrong side tonight.
So-
Damn it.
Here's the thing I've got is I'm actually fine with swapping cross-brand parts and stuff into other cars. That being said, there is a giant star next to that.
Here we go.
Specifically with anything that's like newer. And I've talked about this, where Liger have had multiple engine swaps ideas. From Ferrari engines, Viper engines, Hellcat engines, blah, blah, blah. And all that time, with those swaps specifically, if I ever did it, it had to be a clean swap and had to have it so there's no Christmas tree on the dash. And I think any swap that's done, that's whether it's a brand or whatever changed up, if it's for it to be, in my book, okay or whatever,
Yeah.
I think it needs to be done
completely
clean
European.
and not just, if it's built for the purpose, like being a show car or being something, look, I did this, I'm driving on the road and it's worth, here's my time and value into it. I shouldn't say that, where it's like this, I'm proud of what I did.
Yeah.
Go the extra mile and figure out get it to where it's like, okay, this is now
No check engine lights, none of the BS.
exactly, it passes emissions, all that.
I'm with you as far as especially if it's going to be a showpiece, unless it's supposed to be a piece of junk. Because sometimes you see that too.
If it's an older car, then swap whatever you want into it. And I think that makes it more interesting. And because you don't have all those electronics or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you could fit, a V12 into an MG midget from a Jaguar, that's impressive. That's awesome.
That's a lot of work.
You know,
Yeah, that's engineering feat.
But also those cars don't have where the check engine or check oil, indicator on your cars.
Yeah.
It didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So for me,
I mean, you're getting down to the nitty gritty, which is fine.
But I'm saying that's where I fall on that one.
Yeah, okay.
Where it's fine to do that, but go the extra mile.
Gotcha.
Because one of the most common swaps in my version of Mustang,
Total purist,
is most people swapping an LS motor into it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It makes a lot more power. It's more reliable. It's lighter weight.
Yeah.
I get it. But a lot of people do that, and then it's like, well, the traction control doesn't work. You got, the tachometer's not really there. Maybe you have the mile per hour. The whole thing's lit up. It doesn't pass DQ, but it's fine and registered in a different county.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really complete.
Yeah.
What if I had a 2024 Chevy 2-wheel drive slammed pickup, slammed short bed, short box,
Okay.
or short box standard cab?
Okay.
Yep.
What if I had one of those and I blew the motor up? And I went,
Well, Chevy motors are so cheap.
right.
Yeah.
Well, but what if I don't want to go back to the stock motor?
Okay.
And instead, I want to put
Cummins in it.
no. It's a standard. I would think maybe LS, maybe a Viper motor,
Okay.
something along.
I mean,
those lines.
LS is a Chevy to me.
It is, but it's not the same Chevy motor, right?
You
Correct.
said
Right.
2020 though.
24.
24.
Yeah, and you put a new LS motor.
Put an LS motor in,
Okay.
or a Dodge Viper motor, or whatever I could get my hands
Straight 6.
Okay.
on. Yeah, an old Ford 306.
No, it's Dodge. Dodge only making straight six now.
No.
Yeah.
Old. He said old.
Old Ford 306.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And Ford still makes inline sixes.
I know, but Dodge
You
is
can
only
get a-
making inline six now.
You can get it.
No more V8s.
Dodge is only making V6 now,
No, straight six.
inline.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, he kept saying
I know.
they're only making,
Yeah.
like, they
You're
were the
you're
only
confusing
ones
it.
making
Yes.
in an inline six.
Oh, okay. I see where I was.
No.
Word mistakes.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Squirrel
That's
brain.
fine. So, no, I think that's fine. I mean, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I have no heartache over that.
Yeah.
What about here? Let's go a little more extreme. You've got a 56 Chevy Corvette. Motor is missing, but you bought the chassis. It's in good condition, good running gear, but no motor. Put a Ford 5-liter in it.
So
I've got a Ford motor sitting
I got-
on the shelf.
Yeah,
Putting
I
it
mean,
in
you
there.
bring it home and you're like, I got this Coyote motor sitting in the corner of my garage. I'm going to stuff it in that Corvette.
yeah, I had a problem with that.
I know you would.
Yeah.
You would have
Here's-
serious
here's-
heartburn over that. And you're not the only one that
No,
would have
so
that
here's
problem.
here's my thing is I don't think I'd have much of a problem if it was like an older engine, like an old Coyote motor.
No,
It doesn't matter.
let me go a step further.
I got a 351 Cleveland.
No, 351 NASCAR motor
Okay.
that's going into a Corvette.
Okay.
That 358 that John Vitoni was talking about, that's a Dodge motor.
Yeah.
Putting that in there. It's a NASCAR motor.
I think so I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, I'm sticking to your question,
Okay.
but there is a Ferrari world kind of debacle going on. It's been going on for years.
Always, yeah.
There's a gentleman who owns a 58 250 Ferrari.
I think I know the one you're
Two-wheel.
talking about.
I think it's a California. I think it might not
I
be.
didn't think it was California.
but it's anyways 50s Ferrari, right?
Yep.
Engine died a long time ago.
Yep.
And because all he had time, and there's only so much money you could put in those cars because
Yep.
an engine for that car, I would estimate, is probably minimum $300,000 for a core to a built engine being like $5 to $2 million. You don't have that.
No.
Not everyone does.
I remember this story, but go ahead.
This man put in a Chevy 350 into it,
Yep.
and he did it because if it breaks,
what he
can
had.
work on it. It's what he had.
Yeah.
I
It's
understand.
blasphemy to a lot of people.
Well, that's the other thing. Is it
Probably had
sounds
more power
good,
than the
too.
original motor.
No, I don't think so.
50s motor?
12.
Yeah, the Ferraris back then they made like 375 horses, 300 something.
And
horses.
you don't think a Chev 350 can make that?
Well, not
Or an
iron,
LS?
iron block. LS could, but I don't think that's what he put
Yeah.
in.
No, he put.
It was
remember, this is like in the like
a 12 cylinder.
70s.
It was a 12 cylinder, wasn't it?
Yeah, the original block
original,
was a 12 cylinder.
I mean,
and he put the Chevy 350 in it.
Just the way they rev and sing is
Yeah.
like, but that's not the point.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's for personally in the Ferrari world. I understand where that guy's coming from,
100%.
and I think any Ferrari purist that's bashing on him for that, you have to understand. Not everyone's got 20, 30, 100
Yeah.
million dollars to restore a car.
Yeah.
If that's one
He
that's
had
in your
this
family,
beautiful shell
Yeah.
and he wanted to be
Yeah.
able
Make
to
it
drive
run.
it.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, kind of like the Corvette
Yep.
that you brought back to.
Yep.
I think it comes down to what a person's got available to it.
Yep.
So, if for a Corvette, if you're putting in a 351 or a 50 or whatever,
Yep.
if that's what you can afford, I really could not understand why you couldn't put the 350 in there.
It's not a Ford. He had it in his garage. This is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
Sitting on the shelf.
Sitting
Yeah.
on the shelf. This is what I got. I don't want to go buy another
And-
motor.
Yeah.
He could afford it, but he's not gonna. He's gonna put that Ford motor in there because he's gonna buck the system.
He's going to shoehorn it.
He's just gonna be like, "Fuck you guys! I'm putting a Ford motor in here."
See, here's the thing. I could respect that and actually get it, and I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Because
'Cause
if someone's going to put that dedication and time and effort into it, great. If they're going to do it and just kind of slap in there and be like, whatever, it works.
Yeah.
And not care or just
Well,
half-ass
It
it.
could be that. We don't know.
Yeah. It all comes down to what's the heart and soul put into that project.
Yep.
You know, if someone's putting an engine in there because again they're just like, good enough, put in there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then not enjoy it, the project, just be like, I got this thing just here. Mm-hmm. Why would you even put the effort into it? Put the energy into it.
Who knows?
But if it's something you actually love and care, and you said, I put a Miata 2.0 liter in this Corvette. Okay.
Yeah.
It's different.
That's not going to go very fast, but
the guy is super proud of it and excited for that.
Well, it is. So I know I told you guys about this, but that Pontiac Solstice with the Z06 motor in it. Oh, that thing was good.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You've seen that car, haven't you?
Yeah, it was at SCCA a while back.
Yeah. That thing is awesome. Yeah. But it was super clean. Like really, really good job. But Pontiac, Chevy, it's close, right?
But there's some cars that need it. Like we've talked about this before. The what's it called? The Prowler has that inebriated V6 into it.
Right.
And if it had a V8 swap, and people have,
it'd be a great car.
A great car.
Yeah.
So there's some cars that are worth, doing mixed brand swaps.
Yep.
And what would you put in it? It's a Plymouth. Would you go with the Dodge?
I mean, you could.
You could.
If you're going to be, brand loyal. But LS, baby.
Yeah.
Put an LS in that thing. Put a Viper motor in it.
Jaguar motor in it.
I know where somebody could buy one.
Yay!
Support my buddy Grant.
Yay!
He needs it. Mm-hmm. Yep. How about a Jaguar motor in a Ghost car?
Oh,
that's going to be fun to edit out, that big old huff.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, man. I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so because I don't think our listeners could stand, how much we'd be winning with that combo.
Isn't that motor heavy?
I don't know.
It's aluminum, isn't it? Or is it iron?
The 12?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm going to guess it's an iron one.
No.
Yeah. But I
we got to put that V12 in something, though.
Yeah.
I just want to hear that.
Motorcycle. Let's put it in a motorcycle.
Call it the Twin Tomahawk.
What?
You've never heard of the Tomahawk? It's a motorcycle made by Dodge. They put a V10 Viper motor, 8.3 liter in the motorcycle.
But this isn't a Dodge. It's a Jaguar.
Yeah, but it's a V12, so it's above it. So you
meow.
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 Panther.
Jaguar. It's a cat.
Yeah.
It's a Black Panther or something.
Yeah.
All right. Full of bad ideas. Anyway, so I want to hear from the listener on this one. Like, tell us, email us or message us, untitledcarproject@gmail.com.
What brands are good to swap into?
No, not necessarily that. But, I mean, that's fine. But
would you do it?
What did you do? What have you done?
Oh, yeah.
What have you done? What is your mixed, matched brand swaps? Did you take a Toyota and put a LS in it? Did you take a F-250 and put a tank motor in it? What have you done? I'm
really interested to hear people because there's swaps like we hear about like Porsches and Volkswagens. They put in super motors into it.
Oh, did you? Have you seen? And he's going to be at SEMA, the Porsche with the LS swap?
No, but I know of them.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Movie's Garage did that a long time ago in the 911.
I don't think it's the same one.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't remember now.
Okay.
But we'll be able to see that at SEMA.
Okay.
So, I don't know, just an interesting topic.
Yeah.
I would like to hear what the listeners have to say about that and what they've done. If you got an interesting one, heck, maybe we'll call you up. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to hear about people Tesla swapping all the time.
Tesla swapping.
Yeah.
God,
electric drivetrain.
I mean, I've seen people, threatening to do it with their new dump truck. How impossible to put any kind of motor into that electric car because the entire drivetrain. So what do? Just cut a hole in the bottom of it, remove the battery, and set it on a frame.
Remove the body and put it on a different
put it on
frame.
something else. I mean, that seems like the only way to really do it because they don't have a drivetrain.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it'd be very interesting because they have low drag coefficient on like the Model 3s and Model,
Yeah. Yeah, mostly electric cars do, but I don't know. It's whatever. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No, but sure.
Yes.
No, but sure?
Yes.
Let's play a little Would You Rather. Now, I only brought up 2 questions.
So here's $20, Jeremy. $20 is $20.
Would you rather drive a beat PT Cruiser or ride a bicycle for 100 miles?
Okay. So my original thought was, fuck that PT Cruiser. I'd ride the bike.
Mm-hmm. And then your ass went, oh my God, 100 miles?
And then I went, you know what? It'd be really fun beating on a PT Cruiser.
I mean, we bag on that car so much. I thought that was the perfect candidate for today.
I would take that thing off road and beat the heck out of it.
Okay. All right.
I would do it.
There's one.
Is it a manual?
It's still my hard no, though.
No, it's an automatic with the woody panels and a convertible.
And it barely will spin the tires in the gravel.
I'm gonna
In the gravel, right?
tell you
In the
guys-
ice. It won't even spin the tires in the ice.
I don't think I've ever told you guys a story because I've been in this situation.
So you've driven the PT Cruiser.
No.
Yeah, he
So
has.
here's
Don't
the
lie.
thing.
He actually
So
owns
this
one.
was back in the day. This was like 2007, 2008. My mom and me had gone
Brand
on a
new
trip,
PT Cruiser.
to like Hawaii or something like that.
All right.
And we had gotten a rental car. She got the keys. She's super excited. She's like, yeah, we're going to have so much fun, blah, 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 blah. She's like, because she's debating on what cars to get, whatever. And she's like, yeah. We start walking to the car. It's a PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
I told
Ooh.
her I'm not riding in that.
Yeah.
I said, I would rather go home than be in this car right now. And she's like, you got to be. I'm like, no. I know there's a Mustang, that rental that we can do. You could do that. I'm not going to be in this car. And we eventually got the Mustang.
Did you?
Yeah, I would have ended the whole trip rather than do a PT Cruiser. I'd rather ride the
So
bicycle.
you'd rather ride the bicycle.
If
Yeah.
it's an automatic PT Cruiser, no, I'm good.
I myself am also on the bicycle. I'd be like, nah, no. I'll take the bike.
Yeah.
I'll see you in 8 hours, whatever it takes me to ride 100 miles. I'll do it.
I know my
Should've been more
friend
than 8
Edwin is
hours.
going to listen
Nah, I've
to
done
this
it
and
before.
give me so
Yeah.
much hell right now.
I guess it depends on the bike.
He owns a PT Cruiser.
Yeah, well, he's on his way over to pick you up.
Oh, I know. I've ridden in that car. I've actually broken
He's driven
that
it.
car.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Second question. Would you rather be given $20 million, but you have to drive an electric vehicle forever,
That's your only car?
as forever and ever,
Okay.
or drive a PT and have all your friends see you in it for a day?
God, you were asking all the hard questions, aren't you?
I'll drive the PT Cruiser and let everybody see me in it.
Yeah?
I'll give a
All right.
for $20 million.
You don't get the 20 million. The 20 million only get that, but you have to drive an EV, electric vehicle, forever and ever.
I couldn't drive
Amen.
an EV forever.
Ever and ever, amen. That's all you get.
Couldn't do it.
But you got $20 million.
Couldn't do it. I'm hard out.
Or you have to drive a
I'll keep
PT
working.
Cruiser and your friends everybody sees you in it for a day.
But that's the only thing you get to drive. Ugh, I
Yep.
couldn't do it.
20 million bucks, but you can only drive an EV.
So here's where I'm like,
I could stay home.
I'm really gritting my teeth.
Yeah.
Fuck,
'Cause-
maybe I could do it.
Is at driving EV?
No more driving your truck. No more anything with gas.
God.
Not even a ride-on lawnmower.
I'm
Nothing.
God.
I'm out. No, I'm out. Fuck, I'll drive the PT Cruiser and let my friends see me.
I just try to think what you spend $20 million on to make it worth it to drive an EV.
Right? You can't.
I like-
you can't make it worth it. You can buy yourself a great big EV Hummer, but you're driving an EV.
Right?
Yeah, but that's
I
the
can't
thing.
tow
is-
my fucking boat to the.
Now, here's the
launch. I
thing.
can't
Here's
tow
the
my
thing.
camp
You
trailer.
give me $20 million and an EV.
Mm-hmm.
I know whatever it's going to take, I'm going to modify the hell out of it, so I'm going to make it fun and somehow put a manual into it and make that work.
Still has to be an EV.
Yeah, that's fine.
now
but I'm
wait a
saying-
minute.
But hang on.
Nope.
If I'm in the
an
PT
EV.
Cruiser...
There's no modifying and putting a
got it.
gas engine
I
in.
got
No,
it.
I'm not putting the gas. I'm off for keeping the thing because, like, here's the thing. You would be. I'm trying to think of words that my brain starts skipping. You would be surprised how much innovation I can come up with when I am pressed behind a wall
I
to
could
make
do
something
it.
fun.
I could do it.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Why?
So I could have a car
Okay.
to do the grocery store or whatever, right?
Yep. That's fine for an EV.
Yep. I could do that. Then they actually make EV semis.
So
So
I could do that to
you get $20 million. What do you care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so my other thing was
But the problem is no more race car.
Yeah,
No, you could race an electric
yeah,
car.
you can.
No, not worth it. Not worth it. Life is too short for driving EV bullshit.
I think I could do it.
All right.
I think I could race a
I'm
car.
taking the goddamn PT Cruiser.
So
I could build the race car.
okay,
I could have an EV semi truck to tow the race car to the track with my camper or whatever.
and
I
you
could
have to
drive-
stop every 10 minutes to sit there for 45 and charge.
that probably would be the hard part.
Oh, that would suck ass.
Could you have a diesel generator in the trailer to
Nope.
charge the
Straight up EV, got to stop and charge.
so here's my thing.
put solar
The
panels?
second part of that, you said drive a PT Cruiser, and I was like, no. But you say all your friends see you in it for a day.
That's right.
So here's the thing:
Yep.
is I don't think you understand how big of an event I would make that.
Oh, I know you would.
Yeah, he would.
You're
So
Mr.
that's the thing
Showman.
is, there would have to be a
You'd
reason
have
for
a
us to
party.
see it. So it'd be either
Jurassic Park that shit.
it would be
Yeah,
something
probably.
like that. It'd be off-roading it. I would destroy that car by the end.
Well, that's
Or it'd
fine.
be some. So you're kind of saying, like, would you rather take $20 million, innovate, and try to build something that you're going to make not fun,
Mm-hmm.
or would you try to make something that's completely not fun, get all your buddies together, and have a fun day? I'm going to take that one.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I'll take PT Cruiser because one way or another, you know me, I'll find a way to have fun.
I'll take PT Cruiser for a day, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm not driving the EV, even for $20 million.
Yeah, I could probably just
Because
go
it's
back to PT.
lifelong.
Yeah.
I would do.
I
the
would just
PT
take
Cruiser.
the PT Cruiser for a day and go live the rest of my life.
I would do the PT Cruiser for the day, especially if Grant did one and we both had him in
You
Jurassic.
could play
colors.
Crash Up Derby with it.
Yeah, sure you could.
Hell yeah!
You know.
Ooh, and
And I
you
know a
what?
lot of people are going to be like, bullshit, you take the $20 million.
There's a
Dude,
bonus.
You get spend it on.
You don't get to drive anything anymore. Electric
Yeah.
vehicle, that's it.
There is a bonus to doing the PT Cruiser for a day and beating on them.
Mm-hmm.
You'd get 3 of them off the road.
Yeah, right? By the end of the day, you're just done. You just
Yeah.
killed 3 of them. Yay.
sorry, listener.
He's rethinking it now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
No, not you. The guy with the PT Cruiser. He's rethinking things now. He's like, God
Okay.
damn it. God damn it. Here we go.
Yeah.
How much can we get one of those for?
A PT Cruiser?
Yeah.
I haven't looked.
I honestly don't know if you can get them for like under $1,000. I know they're not running, but I don't know if
Pretty
they're.
close to that, probably.
I don't know if they're starting to get retro where they're starting to start gaining a little bit.
We ought to buy a couple of them.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I'm with
now
you.
hear me out.
No.
Now hear me out. We ought to buy a couple of them and derby 'em.
God.
You know what would be cool is if
I
we
am
could-
not dying in the PT Cruiser.
What would be cool is, you know, at the fairgrounds every year they have crash up derbies or
Yes.
whatever. We should convince them to do a PT Cruiser
Just
only
PT Cruisers.
crash up derby.
We
Yeah,
could- oh my God.
and they would all be.
We'll
we would just
sponsor it.
we would just kill like 20 or 30 of them at once. That'd be awesome.
You're welcome, world.
That's right. Oh man, that would be such an event. That'd be so good.
Oh man.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's it, guys, for the night. Oh, sorry, yelled in the mic. That's
Do
good.
we have any ad? 'Cause
I didn't look up any ads. I've been
did I
super
send
busy.
you
this
one?
week.
I thought.
I don't know. Did you?
I thought I saw a couple. There's a couple. I saw.
Normally you
I will give you a couple of minutes to look it up
Okay.
while I tell our awesome listeners how much we appreciate having them, how much we appreciate them listening. Thank you for hitting follow on the podcast, and try and tell a friend or two, would you? Because that would be really awesome.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Spread the word. We're trying to build an empire here, don't you know?
It's
Yeah.
called Star Wars.
Don't you know? Well,
Oh man. You know we haven't named this building yet.
we'll
did.
work on that off air.
What did we name it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again for listening as Grant is looking up his stuff.
Well, the one thing I found was a $15,000 C2. I sent it to you, Rob, the Corvette guy.
Well, that
Ooh.
tells you
not
how much
bad.
I look at the stuff you send
Yeah,
me.
because he's got multiple Corvettes,
Oh, that's
but
nice
he's
looking.
he's in Coos Bay,
Oh,
and he's got C2, C3, and C4s.
what's the cost?
He wants, well, this is the 68. He wants 15, but
15 for a 68.
they're going.
That one.
No, I don't think it's that one.
The red, that one there.
I don't know.
That's
Just,
not a
there's multiple ones on here.
Yeah, I see that.
So, but I don't know if that's a bad deal. I mean, look, I was just looking at buying a 70s convertible.
Yeah.
They're going.
For way more than it should have been.
Actually, we did research. That was a decent deal because they were going up further than that
Well, what was it?
for the 70.
Convertible. Was it a
Convertible?
manual?
It was a manual.
What
it was a
motor?
350 into it. So 350 horses, 350.
Yeah.
It sold for 29,000
29,000.
for a
It must have been
70.
pristine.
It was in decent shape, but that's the thing is
Well,
when we started looking at
Decent at 29,000 that's too much.
when we started looking to bring a trailer, they were between like high 20s, 30 to 60 grand. Same motor, same everything, different colors, different shapes, and they're just there's no middle ground. It's either one or two. It was weird.
Interesting. Yeah. Because
But-
I feel like the ones that are just decent don't bring $29,000.
I don't know.
Well, and if you're shopping on Bring a Trailer, that's where everybody overpays
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, it's hype.
I was just not
super hype.
as the market trying to figure out where it could.
No,
be,
I
'cause there's
totally
not a
understand.
lot you
But
can't find on the one.
start looking at not bring a trailer, and you'll see the prices are much lower than that.
Yeah.
And you can still find. I don't know about the convertibles. I don't recall looking at a lot of those, but I was looking at the 4-speed 350, the L82. It's the 350 horsepower or whatever it is. They're not that much for a running car.
Ooh, we'll go one.
All right, what do you got?
Okay. I just found this now. This is in Hartselle, Colorado.
Okay.
Because, I'm all over the place.
No, that's fine.
1973 Fiat 850 Sport Spider.
I remember us looking at those before.
So
Yeah.
this one, and we talked about where they're the rear engine one with the long nose.
Yep.
90% done project. Interior's already done. Body's already done. Already painted. Engine's already done. Already in there.
What's the other 10%?
I don't know. Let's see. Car's about 90% done. Needs a few more things. We'll continue to work on it and try to button up the last couple things. But for a fully restored Fiat, I don't know if it's a bad price or not, but they want $5,000 for it. But it looks like it's almost show-ready condition from pictures.
$5,000 and put it in the ghost car.
But Fiat.
But
Well, this is for our listeners, for projects. If you want a project that's nearly done.
yeah, but you were eyeballing that with lust in your eyes.
Oh, yeah, I doesn't want one.
Yeah.
Hey, one more thing I found.
No,
1999 Pontiac.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
you're not supposed to find these on the fly.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah. So we found.
That's a super clean
This
one.
is the one. Yeah, is this the W6? It's a 6-speed. It's manual T-tops. Red, 1999.
Super clean.
Yeah, I bring this up because Chad was bringing it up earlier, talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much?
This one they want $17,500 for it in Colorado Springs.
Colorado. Well, I could see that on a super clean, like, what's the mileage, does it say?
Mileage on this one says very low miles. 50,000 miles, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
For a
pretty good.
6-speed in red. And it's got, I think, an LS motor in there.
There you go, Chad. This one is calling you.
Yeah, that's an LS motor, isn't that? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's the car that Chad was talking about earlier.
There you go. That's a beauty.
Yeah.
Better send that to him.
Yep.
Okay.
Right on. All right, we're going to call it a show. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project.
Yes.
Hit follow, please.
Yeah.
Please spread the word.
Don't forget, we're heading to SEMA. Let us know what you guys want us to check out there.
There'll be stuff in cars, stuff,
and leashes.
and we'll talk about it. And Grant's going to take a
Maybe a ball gag.
10 zillion, maybe where you're going. You're just full of ones. Oh boy, there's going to be stuff to be seen,
Yeah.
parties to be had. All right, really appreciate it, and thanks everyone.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.